Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone Live. We have our very first panel of Series 1 New Who. We're going with the episode Rose, of course. We will have our panel with us presently. Obviously, because my computer is a bit on the slow, I have to actually invite me panel after the fact. I just want to give a shout out firstly to Blue Bonnet. Blue Bonnet, of course, was supposed to join the panel, but she's feeling a bit under the weather. And also, our mum is only had to come out of hospital as well. So I just want to wish you as well and hope to see you around very, very soon. And everybody out there, listen, we can't mention the certain thing that's gone around the world that's causing havoc. But all I just want to say to everybody is please stay safe. And if you have any elderly neighbors out there that need some help, please do, because they're very vulnerable. Myself and Cheryl now will be on the verge of a total self-isolation because we've got underlying medical conditions, so we're at high risk, like the elderly out there. So there's going to be a couple of announcements, I say, made in this country that there's been footage going around, it's gone viral all over the internet of effing Egypts in Temple Bar, in a pub, Dublin airport packed, loads of people around each other, and we're told to be not around, no gatherings over 100. Well, the Irish pubs have been breaking the rules, and the government now has demanded that they get their act together. So, yeah, I think we're on the verge on this country, like most countries out there. I think we're on the verge of a shutdown. I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, everybody just freaking out, buying toilet roll. I thought that's the funniest thing for me. It's the toilet roll and the hand sanitizer. I can get the hand sanitizer, but toilet roll, it doesn't give you diarrhea. Right, let's bring on our first guest. Of course, she's already know this first guest. She was on, when was it? Was it last week or the week before? I think it was the week before. We had drunk Cheryl. But tonight, we have sober Cheryl. And she doesn't like me calling her that because she says, no, I don't want everybody thinking I'm an alcoholic. They know you're not an alcoholic. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Of course, I was going to let everyone figure out if it was drunk or Cheryl. Drunk or sober Cheryl, but you kind of ruined it. Cool, whatever.
Yeah. Hold on, I forgot to text the rest of me panel. Oh yeah,
it's so big on the screen. I am sorry, everybody. It's like a big, giant head.
There you go. Yeah. What you call it? Yeah. So we have another special guest coming. I'm actually delighted he's coming on. It'll be interesting because we're going to be talking about roles. So be interested to see if we can keep to the subject matter. I'm sure we will. But listen, let's not try make any references to how good this is compared to what era, right? We'll just do it as we normally do it. We'll rate the episode. We'll rate the performances. Obviously, we're going to go into more detail. Obviously, everybody has watched Rose. For anybody that hasn't, we'll do a kind of a quick rundown. Yeah, the last time I text Rabbi, he was actually making a cup of coffee. So I better tell him I sent him the link.
What is it, like 4 a.m. Wait, 1 a.m.
There he is. That's why we said we'd start early, because Rabbi always stays up late for us when we were doing the Series 12 review. So here he is. Welcome, Rabbi.
Good evening. Hello. How are you all?
Hi.
I'm still honored to be on a stream with you, Cheryl. Wow. Hello.
Hello.
Do you know what I have to say? That
I feel like I should have something really exciting up above here, but I don't.
What was I going to say? I was Yeah, I've gotten a few messages off people who have said to me, actually, we decided to watch Rose because you were doing this, and we forgot how fun it was.
So much fun. Oh my
Listen, here's
god.
the thing. I couldn't sit
Good
there.
crack, definitely.
Before we get into the review, we were waiting on one more guest, right? So we'll see if the guest turns up now. I won't tell you who it is. I'll surprise you. But I couldn't watch any Classic Who after obviously the Timeless Children. So we decided, myself and Cheryl, I just said one day, let's just watch it, see if we can actually watch it. And we did, I have to say. So if there's anybody out there that still finds it hard to watch Doctor Who, because I know there is a few out there, start with Rose. I know it's not the greatest episode in the world, but there's some moments in that episode that just you just can't help but put a smile on your face. I mean, as I said, it's not the greatest with effects, and it has aged, but I think that's what gives it more charm. But we'll get into more detail in a minute about Rose. But yeah, start with Rose and cheer up. What'd you say, Cheryl?
Is that Ted whinging in the back?
Yeah, of course it is. He's in the kitchen. He was sitting on the chair, right? And now he's just staring at me. There's nothing in the kitchen. We took all the balls out and we put them on the floor. Right? He was looking for the eggs then. He wanted the eggs, right? Because he thinks the eggs are something to play with. Then we had to take the oranges off as well because he thought they were something to play. At and round or oval, Ted wants. He's weird.
Those things are all gold now. Don't let them anywhere near your eggs or your oranges.
No kidding.
I know. Tell me
It's
about
especially your eggs. Oh my
we were
god.
out of butter.
Yeah.
How was there a shortage of butter?
Yes. Yeah, we did a big.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and say to people not to worry, right? Yeah, you have every right to be worried. But
why? Because the global pandemic of biblical proportions sweeping the world. Because it's the end of the day. Yeah, don't panic.
Yeah, but hang on. There's no need to panic, right? You don't need to be going out panic buying. There's plenty of food out there, right? There's plenty of food. There's plenty of toilet roll. There's plenty of bleeding hand soap, right? You just need them to stock up, right? Let them stock up. Keep it stocked up and go out and do your shopping as normal until the governments of the world start telling people to stay indoors for a month. By the way, there's a proposal in the UK that old age pensioners stay indoors for 4 months. For 4 months. How is old age pensioners supposed to stay indoors?
We just don't like them.
4 months. He wants them to self-isolate.
And red-headed people too. They should stay in.
4 months. I'm sorry we haven't gotten into Rose yet. I'm just waiting to see if our guest is coming now or they're
actually. You know who I'm worried about, Noel? I'm worried about your old man down the street. We have a guy that lives down the road from us that without fail, doesn't matter what's happening in the world. He's got his little, he's an older guy and he's got some disabilities physically. And he's always on his little go-go scooter.
Oh, yeah.
And if he doesn't park that in front of the pub 2 places down from where we are. And if it's raining, they'll bring it in for him and just set it aside. So I feel like as long as I see his scooter,
yeah,
I have hope.
The world is still turning when that's still
as soon as I go to the scooter.
Yeah, just be a little bit cautious. That's it. But don't be buying into all the media hype, right? Just listen to the experts, right? And if the experts tell you then we all have to panic, then panic. Until then, there's no need for you to be going out and actually buying up all the toilet roll. Other people need to wipe their arses too, you know, right?
It's hard to practice social distancing when you're in a store with 400 people fighting over the same roll of toilet.
Exactly. Some fella in America got stabbed with a wine bottle because apparently he took the last hand sanitizer or something. It's getting ridiculous.
Oh, in my home state, someone tried to shoot into the air. I think the shot was actually into the air. He was aiming at one of the workers' head, but at Walmart because he didn't feel it had enough cash registers open. So,
yeah.
Well, you know, what can
I
you
wish
do?
people would exert that energy on washing their hands and covering their sneezes and coughs.
Well, here's the thing. You need to be told to wash your hands, right, and cover your mouth when you sneeze and cough, then you're a dirty animal. I know some of us sometimes do it.
Right. Actually, who doesn't do that anyway?
Hygiene.
But if you have a chance to stop from spreading fucking germs, you should, right? And you know, you shouldn't have to be told in this day and age to actually wash your hands and wash your feet and wash your body.
You know what people need to stock up on at this point? They need to stock up on lotion because your hands should be dry and chapped from washing them all the time. Exactly. So you need lotion. That's what you need to have.
Yeah. See, we always buy antibacterial soap wash, so we already had loads before all this this nonsense. It is nonsense. I just don't be going out bulk buying, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up throwing most of that food away and you're wasting food, right?
Look, the bottom line is it's very clear. Social distancing. You need to keep your space. There needs to be. They've shown so far that you have to be with an infected around someone who's infected, which you may not know because they may not be showing symptoms for like 15 minutes within 6 feet. So guess what? If you're not hanging around people and you're not close, you have less of a risk of being infected and or infecting others. You may not see anything when you get sick. That doesn't mean you should go cough all over everybody.
Yeah.
There are people that need food, they need items, and they can't get them because healthy, ridiculous people are stockpiling like it's the zombie apocalypse, which is what it will be if you keep stockpiling food and coughing all over.
Exactly. Look, and listen, if you just want to do something good, go and help your elderly neighbor out who's going to be actually terrified right now, who will probably be thinking it's the end of the world. They'll need some comfort. They'll probably need someone, if they don't have family around, to help them with a bit of shopping.
Or maybe they don't know how to online order.
Yeah, or even do that for them so the food gets delivered to them. Do anything, But listen, the one good thing about this whole thing is, if we can take anything good from this, is that, well, from my point of view and from Rabbi's point of view and other YouTubers' point of view, we will be here and primed and ready to keep you entertained.
Oh, right. We have plenty of content coming.
If you are indoors and you have to stay indoors for months, don't worry, we'll be here, so we'll go mad and crazy together. We'll all get cabin fever together. You know what I mean?
If you like the Rabbi's avatar, please smash a like on this video.
Thank you.
Right there.
Did you design that, Rabbi? I wanted to ask you, did you design that yourself?
I did indeed, yes.
That is brilliant.
That is brilliant. I love that.
Part of my crazy
that brings me so much joy. It really I think it's the color, that perfect greeny yellow thing you got.
Yeah, it's nice. Perfect. I actually like it. Yeah, it's deadly. It's the best avatar ever, says Ben. There you go.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, just give Noel a pass.
Our other guest won't be joining us for about 20 minutes.
Who won't be our guest? Our other guest?
They won't be joining us for another 20 minutes. So we'll just get on with it and we'll wait until they come in. He's a channel regular. Oops. I probably gave it away, but there's another person coming on anyway, so we'll have our full panel this week. But again, just want to give a quick shout out to Blue Bonnet, who was supposed to be on tonight, but obviously is not feeling well, so we get well soon, and we hope to see you on the panel at some stage. Right, guys, let's do it. Let's talk about Rose. Cheryl.
Yes.
We'll let you do the episode synopsis, because I know this, because it'll give I know you like this episode. Well, who doesn't, actually, to be quite honest with you? But we were genuinely laughing and smiling watching this episode. Go on, you do the synopsis, because I'm not great at doing episode synopsis, because I waffle on like I'm doing right now. So go ahead.
Okay, well, the quick synopsis is that synapses are different. We have Rose start off with her day, don't know who she is. She's an ordinary chick from England, just run about doing her business. She works in a shop, everything's getting set. She goes to close, has to run something down to the boss, which, by the way, I am just going to say is weird that it was in the basement, like behind closed doors and everything. Weird, but what else?
Yeah, that can happen today. That's
no,
so
I'm sorry. I need to run a bag down to the basement for the boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Family stuck out. You're right. I was like, yeah, so couldn't happen today.
Actually, there was a couple of things while we've been watching this series, actually, that we will.
No, you don't get to talk right now.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, I'm in trouble. Go on.
So she runs down to give the boss some stuff, and that's where it starts to get weird. All of a sudden, she's down there with the mannequins, and they become animated. And then, poof, out of nowhere, doctor comes in, grabs her, whisks her off, and sorts the whole thing. Shop blows up. It's all over the news. Her mom's freaked out. Everyone's like, what's happened to the mysterious thing? But she brought the arm home. And she's supposed to try to check it out. It becomes reanimated again. It's all very, it's cheesy, but it sets up what's happening. Let's just say that. So anyway, so the arm takes over. Rose and the doctor need to work together to figure out what's going on. They're off checking everything out. Rose enlists. Actually, she doesn't enlist. Her amazing boyfriend, Mickey, volunteers to help, despite Rose acting like a complete jerk face. So they go and they're off solving all of, the problems. And I'm trying to do like a synopsis without going through like every detail.
Yeah, you don't have to.
So in a nutshell, raging angry mannequin zombies trying to get everyone, and the doctor saves the day with the help of Rose, and then the adventure continues.
Is that it?
That's all you need for synopsis. That's all you need. It's a summary.
Okay, right. Well, that's the quick summary by Cheryl. Right, let's break it down. Right, so as you said, the episode starts off with this character called Rose. We will get into Rose in a little bit more detail as we go on with the serious review. But let's just say Rose is not a favorite companion of mine. There's a few little incidents even in this very first episode where you can where you can tell that she's a very selfish person. And she only thinks of herself. And later on in the run, obviously, when we get up to Father's Day, you will see how selfish she actually gets. But yeah, but I do like the whole speech. I mean, straight away, when Christopher Eccleston, I remember this very well because obviously, as people know, I was going through a rough time in 2005. Doctor Who came back, and Christopher, he won me over almost straight away, but I think what clinched it for me is where after the incident where he's in Rose's flat with the mother with the whole arm and it's choking him, and they basically walking back to the TARDIS, and she's basically asking him what's going on, and then he does this whole speech about how he could feel the world spinning in space at a certain amount of miles an hour, and he drops her hand. That's where he won me over. And then you hear the TARDIS for the very first time, actually. You hear the TARDIS for the very first time taking off, going away. And that was brilliant. But yeah, poor Clive. Everybody remember Clive. He was the guy that Rose went to see. He was obviously right about the doctor. He said he was the same person. And then that poor fecker ends up getting his head blown off. Actually, the first episode is pretty the doctor blows up Rose's job, right? Poor Clive gets assassinated.
There's like tons of people get murdered by the Autons when they attack. It was Jackie comes within a second of being shot. They definitely toned down the violence, but you know what? This is them finding their feet. You know, they're feeling out where they want to be with it. But you know, I think the overwhelming thing that I got from this was just how much they love Doctor Who and how happy they are to be back, and how it's just such elation wins you over with everything. It's like. That first montage of Rose's day, it's got this wonderful kind of sepia fantasy London summertime sheen to it.
Yeah,
which I think and it's got this love of Britishness. You know, it just loves being British. It really does. It's and it loves it. It's like showing the double-decker buses and the London Eye and making it very contemporary. Yeah, that's what I mean. Again, I think that's the thing that shined out for me more than anything. And I think that papered over any crack, and it's impossible not to compare it, because it's like the two what we have today, because it's the polar opposite. It's the invert. You know, like if you go to the evil mirror universe or the Russell T Davies Doctor Who, you get the Chris Chibnall Doctor Who.
Right. Well, because it was diverse and it did have a message, and all of those things that she's saying are so important were there.
Exactly.
But you know,
Mickey and Rose, and they were full characters.
So good, you were absolutely sucked in from the get-go, watching the whole thing. That it's like, unless you sat there and actually tried to dissect the diversity about it, it did look like what you would see in modern day England. It was representative. It like I said, the strong message was there, but it was, when you're watching, you're figuring it out for yourself. Like, no one had to tell me something was bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, problem being says in the chat, it had charm. That's it, and it had Russell T Davies's charm.
Yes.
But this one, again, this episode particularly, it was just beaming. You know when Russell T Davies, when he's really happy, he's got that big smile on his face. So that's that's the energy of the episode.
Yeah, it was. I mean, even the slower parts still had stuff going.
Rattled along,
Like you were never sitting there going, "Why am I watching this girl eating chips with her boy?" Like, I don't. You're into it because it showed just enough of Rose's life for you to connect with her. So the second she was attacked by the mannequins, and I think we all know. I know someone mentioned it in the chat that they were Autons, but I think that they weren't allowed to actually say that they were Autons. It was just implied. Is that correct? Because they were trying to.
They said Autons. They call it nesting intelligence.
Did they call them that in the show?
Yeah,
because some of the newer people not having them familiar with classic, they wanted to not isolate people by using the terminology we know. But
I think they did both. I think they just did it as like an aside. It wasn't like a central.
But yes, the second the first mannequin gets her, you're invested in Rose's life.
Yeah, and you're exactly.
Like, oh, okay, I want this girl to be okay. And they didn't show 20 minutes of footage. They showed just enough to be like, oh, look, it's some young girl working in the shops, minding her own business. And dang, who doesn't in that moment want a hero, male, female, doesn't matter, but the Doctor is male. So I'm just going to say, who doesn't want that anyone to come swoop in and save you from mannequins that are probably going to kill you?
Yeah, but that whole scene in itself, that whole scene when she walks down into the basement, you've got the music, you can hear the plastic arms moving around, right?
I love that, the creaky sound.
Yes.
It's like, it's intense, it's scary. Even Billie Piper sells the scene because she genuinely looks terrified, like, you know, and then when they start moving, you can see her, she thinks it's students at first, and then she's calling out for Wilson. And then, of course, then they go to hit her, and then the Doctor obviously grabs her hand and says, "Run,
run."
But she also showed she just wasn't a weak woman that was waiting for someone to save her, because she made an effort to save herself. So all of these things that were being preached about right now and beat over the head were there. And I know you didn't want to like compare, and I'm just gonna say that
you can't not compare it. It's like bigger than an elephant in the room. You can't not compare it.
Right.
And you know, I was just thinking when I was watching Rose, I think this is actually I also watched the first episode of season 10, the pilot, as well tonight. I had a fantastic evening, by the way. I really enjoyed both of them. That also had a real love of being Doctor Who. But I realized seasons 11 and 12 were the first time that we didn't have three-dimensional female characters or that you cared about, or three-dimensional, dark-skinned, Asian, whatever. It's the first time that ever happened, and it's very weird.
Right. And no big deal made out about Mickey and Rose.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because
it's not a big deal for anybody who's not insane.
It's because we are a diverse nation, like a world, diverse world. People get with people that aren't looking exactly like them. And it was in there, and it went with the story, and it was great. But the thing is, I was just thinking, like, in that very first episode, I felt like I know more about Mickey and his life than I do about Yaz to date.
Yes.
In one episode, I cared about Mickey.
Right. And all you need is a couple of little, like, that first scene with him when he comes around to see Rose and he wants to go to the pub, and that's everything you need to know about his character. And like when he says, "Don't look, read my emails," you know that you've got his like that cheeky little naughty, but you know everything about him just with these tiny little sketches, which again is the work of Russell Davies, which is the work of a master who can draw.
What makes you cheer for him so much when he decides to stay on the parallel Earth, because you're like, yeah, Mickey, you go, and you ties you in because you're like, well, now I know why the Ninth Doctor kept calling him Ricky. Like it wasn't a piss take, he got it
right, exactly.
Which then also begs the question. I know we're not talking about it yet, but I'm just gonna say, then if the parallel universe is just like the whole Orphan 55, like all these things is like, well, just one thing that could be. Well, we have parallel. You just stop making it so clever and complicated, and just tell a story. And I think this one was okay being so set on Earth because people were coming back to it and everything, and they didn't want to. But it still had a very alien element to it, and that's the thing. When you're stuck on Earth, you still very much want it to feel science fiction. Space, you still want your bug-eyed monsters. I don't care if they're in London. I don't always want to be on Earth. I do want to be out in space. But if you're going to do it on Earth, that's the great thing about every Christmas special. You're always like, crap, don't go to London on Christmas because monsters will come out and get you. But that's the thing. It was still scary. I mean, you're walking around during Christmas time, you're like, you see like some Santa Claus and you're looking at it a little bit twice. You're looking at shadows twice because the writing was so brilliant. I am not looking over my shoulder for tooth monsters. I'm not. Or toilet tissue rolls coming to get me. I am looking for a story where something significant is going to happen that holds worlds and lives in the Doctor's hand, and he makes the right decision to save someone. He called everyone apes in the first episodes. He literally was clear that he thought humans were steps below everyone else. But he was going to save and protect them.
But there's natural progression when by the time you get to David Tennant's Doctor and by the end of his Doctor, when it comes to the Wilf scene, actually someone made this great point, and he says by the time the Doctor gets from where you are talking about to where then he meets Wilf, you can actually see then that his whole change of attitude towards humans has completely changed. It's like, you know, they're worth protecting. Even in the first episode, humans are worth protecting. Sure, you even see him in the next episode, which is one of my favorites. I actually like The End of the World because we're introduced to Lady Cassandra, but we'll get into that next week. But
right.
But you can't see it.
In the grand scheme of things, Rose was one girl in a shop while all this was going on. The Doctor could have let her been taken.
Yeah.
And then he could have sorted the problem out with no humans around.
Exactly.
But he saw someone and went, oh, better save her, because that's what the Doctor does. He's all about going in and saving people. And he never once ever looked at or treated Rose like she was a helpless little girl that couldn't take care of her.
Exactly. But you know, I mean,
never did. Actually, in that very first scene where they're walking together and all, and he goes, "You won't understand, or might scare," and he goes, and she goes, and he goes to her, but it might scare. I don't know what the line is, but he says, "You're still listening." So he keeps telling this. He's telling the story to her.
Right.
See, that wouldn't normally scare. So yeah, right. Rose, I will give her that. Rose was an independent woman. But you actually see it because later on in the series, she does things that just annoy me. But
her character regressed. I felt she was stronger in Rose, than she kind of was toward the end in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
She was a
Yeah.
whiny,
Yeah.
she was
Yeah,
that
Well,
woman
I mean,
none of us want to
you
be.
have to remember that Rose was written very specifically to be an antidote to the Doctor, to be
Yeah.
what the Doctor needed at that point. And the thing that I really see now watching it again is it's the spark between the Doctor and Rose. That's
Yeah.
like that shouldn't work, but it does, and they're connected, and they both know they're connected.
Yes.
And you know, that look of hurt on his face when she turns him down for the first time. He says, "You want to come with that?" I mean, yeah, it took John Pertwee 4 seasons to get to that same level. You know, when Joe Grant left.
He was very clever because he knew she kind of wanted to go. That's why back the second time it says, "Oh, by the way, did I tell you
in time as well as space?"
Later on in, I think it's the one with the gas masks, the
Empty Child.
Empty Child, and the Doctor dances. Jordan, there's actually a line. Who didn't say I went and seen you when you were playing in your bike when you were 10 years old or something like that? He makes a line. His Doctor makes a line. So he already, when he left Rose there, right, which nobody picks up on, he actually, because later on we find out that he actually went to see Rose when she was a little kid. So he went back to her past that time when Rose and Mickey were there. He went back. He knew her dad was dead.
Oh yeah, what was that in? I remember. Was that
that was at the end scene where he everybody lives, and he says,
ways?
And then he goes,
"Oh no, the Doctor dances."
Yeah, the Doctor dances, and he goes, "Everybody lives."
Just this once, everybody lives. Yeah.
And then as he's coming into Tardis, he goes, who? He goes, he says something about visiting her when she's 10 years old or something, when she was playing on her bike, and Rose goes, what? It's like, so he already knew her past. This is what I'm trying to say. So when he comes back to her the second time, he goes, oh, by the way, did I also say it's a time machine? He knew he had her. That's why he gets so angry then on Father's Day and calls her a stupid ape. I picked another stupid ape. It's always not, it's not about bringing yous and showing you the words, about what the universe can do for you. He gets really angry, but he knew she was going to do it because that's what he uses to get her on the TARDIS.
Right,
yeah. But I think being faced with yeah, again, look, this Doctor is a very, very damaged Doctor, which is, I think, a fascinating choice. He's like, this is like him. He's really broken as a character. He finds it very hard to trust, and he finds it very hard to open himself up, which are things that are like very core to what the Doctor is. The Doctor is a loving, trusting character. But again, he's completely scarred, and that's why he needs Rose. Rose, you're right, is selfish, does a lot of things like. But she's the antidote that he needs to turn himself back into the Doctor, which is the journey.
And he knows that because she's lost someone. He's lost his people, right, at this stage. So Gallifrey doesn't exist at this stage. We'll get to that later on anyway. But you know what I mean? You can see they need each other. And they do bounce off each other, and they do help each other through this. But when it does come to the time of Rose actually meeting her dad, which we will, that is one of my favorite episodes. But
fantastic episode.
But Paul Cornell, I'm just going to call you out. Like, listen, mate. You know, you ask fans' opinions about a serious ending. There's no need to be blocking people because you don't like their opinion. I think if we've gotten to that stage, it's actually pretty sad. But
really, like, I mean, I don't understand anybody who clearly loves Doctor Who.
I know.
Loving that, I find that, like, really? Sounds more like someone trying to get a job.
You might see on my last live stream that we did, actually, on the time these children now start getting some comments from people that aren't going to be so nice, because a YouTuber out there, I won't mention their name because Cheryl doesn't like when I mention YouTubers' names, because she's on this stream, I won't. But there's a YouTuber out there that has decided that I don't know. There's a couple of YouTubers out there starting on Gary and Ballstrek. Now there's a couple of YouTubers coming after me, right? And they put up the last live stream, and they basically slagged me off for crying. There's a grown man crying over a show.
Oh, I saw that. What
Yeah.
dicks?
Now I just want to say to everybody,
Wait. We're beating men up for being toxic males.
Yes.
But then when one cries, we're gonna call them out for being
because these people have no morals or no consistency
Well,
in any way, shape, or form.
But here's the thing, right? I said it from day one. I don't care, right? That was me. That was my emotions pouring out. Yes, I did apologize to people because I didn't want to. The panel's face said it all anyway, right? But that was pure raw emotion. I had just seen 57 years of Doctor Who canon destroyed. I am not going to apologize for being like that. And the fact that you've actually put up a tweet kind of shame me, right? The shame a fellow man anyway. You know, when we're being bashed already, doesn't go down well with me. So if you've anything to say to me, yeah. I know there's a lot of years. I've noticed, right? See, this is the thing: is our channels are not doing great, right? And you have decided that you go after a couple of the YouTubers that's videos are doing well, which my videos are doing well, right? And the other YouTubers' channels are growing, and my channel continues to grow. Sorry about Ted, because Cheryl decided to come in, because she needs our phone for some weird reason. Sit down, Ted. But to shame someone for actually being a passionate fan just goes to show you. And by the way, this person, and I will call them out on this, all they're interested in is making money. Should you were at Disneyland earlier, if you go onto their community feed, and his followers are paying for all that, and all he wants to do is go out and call out other YouTubers that are actually got less subscribers than him. Right? Here's the thing: I don't mind. You go after the big boys. They if they choose to retaliate, that's fine. But the fact that you're coming after me, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to take this channel down. Well, as I said last year, loads of people have tried to take this channel down, and they've all failed, and you won't take this channel down. I'm going nowhere. So you can shame me all you want, yeah? If you want to start something, that's fine, because all the bigger YouTubers are getting sick and tired of all you little muppets anyway. We're getting to the stage now where something has to be done. So if you just want to start something, fine, we will end it. We will end it. Nobody's taking any more crap. Right, back to Rose.
We just don't care.
No. Well, I'm finished now. Back to Rose. I just wanted to get that out because that has, everybody's been very nice to me about what happened on the Timeless Children. This is the first time that I've actually had someone actually slag me off. Right, and it doesn't bother me. It's the fact that he's actually went in and got me stream, and God knows what they've done to it. I haven't looked. They probably edited me stream and done stuff. They're not even supposed to be doing that anyway, taking me streams off without me permission anyway, so they can get into trouble. But the fact that this very same person was taking money off minors and actually wrote it up on these community posts for everybody to see. I'd actually like to ask YouTube, you should actually check that out, because you should give that money back. If they're minors, they obviously needed a bank account because that's how YouTube works. So how are they able to pay for the super chats that they were giving them? Right. Well, I made that point to him, and I actually tagged them, because unlike him, I actually tag people when I'm actually talking about them. Right, back to Rose anyway. So we're at the scene. We've gotten to the point where one of my favorite scenes is the funny part. Obviously, when the Tardis moves from the restaurant, when he pulls Mickey's head off, and then the head starts melting, and then the Tardis then lands behind.
I'm gonna say Rose is pretty self-absorbed and a pretty crappy boyfriend if she didn't notice him glitching.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like
it was a pretty obvious. Like, are you feeling okay, Nick? How you doing? What's the chip got you or something in your throat? He's all.
Cheryl said at the time, that scene in the car where she comes out of Clive's house, she gets in the car and Mickey has changed because the bin swallowed him. Yeah, by the way, if anybody hasn't seen Rose, because I know some people have skipped 9, so what happens is basically you drive up to this man's house and he's a conspiracy theorist, a bit like me.
Well, let me interrupt you. By the way, again, the doctor did not use the Sonic to solve all this stuff. He also incorporated the help of Mickey with a computer to look for stuff. Weird. It's like he had two people that he actually used to assist him in saving the world and not make a big deal about it because he wasn't looking for thank you. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
That's just such a fundamentally different character than the one we used to on Doctor Who today.
yeah. We've got a $5 super chat from Stephanie. I think it's Captain Robert April's wife. Yeah. Hey, Captain Robert April is out at the moment, and we're in a Motel 6 with Wi-Fi. That is rubbish.
It's rubbish that you're in a Motel 6. That's rubbish.
Wow. Well, Cheryl would know what Motel 6 is. I obviously haven't got a clue. But welcome and thank you for the £5 super chat. But
I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of a Motel 6 would be. Do you have Happy Eater in Ireland?
It's like
probably Premier Inn or something. Premier Inn.
It sounds like. Imagine Ryanair if it was a hotel.
No, Flybe.
Oh, fuck off! No way.
Flybe.
Get away, man. We even hate Ryanair over here, for God's sake.
You're definitely not in the Aer Lingus of hotels. I'll tell you.
Well, you know what? I will say one thing. Look, I know we're supposed to review this episode, but there's no point because we've all seen it. So we just talk about what we like because that's what we're doing. But
I just loved it. I was having so much fun.
The scene that I love, right? See, you just have to understand, and Rabbi will understand this, right? Because obviously Rabbi, like myself, would have been looking very closely when we found out Doctor Who was coming back. Obviously, we would have been checking out on everything that was the articles and all related to it. But there was several articles, and you know, Hugh Grant's name. We obviously back in the day, we kind of got to know who was asked to play the role. Christopher Eccleston then got it. But the thing about it is, when he got it, and everybody seen his costume for the first time, there was murder. There was literally murder. See, this is the thing that I keep saying to these other fans, is that you think that Doctor Who fans or Whovians are only complaining now. No, they've been complaining ever since the show was on air, but especially when
Never like this
was revealed, trust me, all hell broke loose. And our special guest is here, and he'll be able to tell you what it was like at the time. Christopher Eccleston was actually slated at the time. People said he's not a comedian because you need the comic element when obviously you play the Doctor. Said he won't be able to pull off the comedy, and that's what I wanted to bring up, the scene where the TARDIS lands and the London Eye is behind him. And he's explaining to Rose, he's looking for something circular, and he keeps looking back, and he goes, what? And he keeps looking back and goes, what? And then he realizes, and it's so hilarious. Like that man.
My favorite hands down is Jackie, like, oh, look, a strange man in my house, and me just like,
yeah. Oh my God.
Anything could happen. He's all, no.
Right.
Comedy. That was great.
Yeah.
Like, what else are you going to say to Jackie? I'm surprised she didn't just like lunge on him. So the fact that he just said nope and beat a hasty retreat, it's perfect. He did his comedy, I think, was much more subtle.
Yeah.
Which I think some people didn't like. Like, my mom still hasn't warmed up to him. My dad appreciates him like a lot more.
Right. I want to bring on our next guest. Hang on. Right, so we got a $20 Australian dollar super chat first from Travels in Time, and it's completely blank. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And here is our next guest tonight. It's obviously the one and only. Oh, Greg.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Rabbi. How are
Hello.
things?
How are you doing? How's Lexi, first of all?
Oh, yeah.
She's still adjusting. This is her 4th day with insulin injections, so there's some side effects to adjusting to it. So I'm looking after her, and she's adjusting to the seizure medication as well. So she's had a rough time.
Yeah,
but
the seizures are rough. Those are definitely awful.
Yeah. Oh well, she had 6 over the course of 2 days. So that was about a week and a half ago, but knock on wood, the seizure medication is working.
Brilliant.
so far. So that stemmed it. She's having trouble with her back legs. I'm having to help her upstairs and stuff. But no, we're doing so. A lot of vet bills in the past week and a half. But she's basically my kid, so I'll do anything for her.
That's it. She's a fighter anyway, and she has a good person to look after her too. And Ted is at coming over because he knows we're talking about it.
He's such a jealous little booger.
Hi, Ted.
Hey, Ted. He's right beside me now because he knows we're talking about your dog. Well, we're after being talking about Rose Ballstrick. We've decided, like every Sunday, we're going to do an old episode review, just relive New Who. We're going to do Classic Who at some stage, and I know you back in your early days on YouTube, which kind of actually annoys me because you get so much hate, as you know, people calling you a fake fan, and I keep pointing out, especially on Twitter, you'd want to really do your research before you accuse Ballstrick of being a fake. Have you seen his earlier videos? He used to review the DVDs back in the day. I'm sorry, but your argument doesn't. So we're going to be doing some Classic Who. So if you'd like to join a panel for Classic Who as well, we're going to be doing that as well. But
reliving the old days is good. The better days.
That's it, and it's cheering people up anyway. But what did you think of Rose? The very first Doctor Who episode back on the screen in 2005.
I remember excitement at the time. Go back to November of 2003 when it was announced that Doctor Who was coming back, and a little bit later, Christopher Eccleston had been cast as the Doctor. I wasn't quite sure on Eccleston. I had seen him in things 28 weeks later, or 28 days later. The Others, where he played the father. So I was aware of him, and I wasn't entirely sold on whether or not he could pull off the Doctor, but I was excited. I remember the first time that I saw the full trailer. It was actually in a movie theater. I was seeing a horror. I think it was actually the Boogeyman, starring that kid or that guy from Seventh Heaven. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it because it kind of coincides with when it was released. But I remember seeing that trailer and I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. So they had the trailer up on the BBC website. So I just played it over and over again. I showed it to everybody I could. I'm like, you've got to check this out. And when I wasn't actually, that season, I wasn't really sailing the high seas. But if you look at the first 3 seasons of Doctor Who, you'll notice it says in cooperation with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is our own version of the BBC, which is now just as bad, if not worse than the BBC. But we got the episode a week and a half later. So by the time I saw it, Rose and the second episode had aired. And unfortunately, by the time that I saw the first episode, we already knew that Eccleston was going to be leaving.
Yeah.
So, but I was a friend of mine, we were hanging out, and I'm like, you have to check this out. So we watched the episode. And Eccleston first came on screen in the department store, and within 30 seconds, I'm like, my God, this guy is awesome. So it was, there are some issues with the episode, not relating to the acting or the story, mainly due to the way BBC productions were filmed at the time, which they were using digital Betacam, which is why it has that soap opera look. They used those up until series 4, but it was starting with David Tennant's season. They got much better with color correction, which is why those episodes look better. Although on one of the DVDs, there's actually a special feature which shows you the unedited footage, so it looks just like series 1. But I remember being just transfixed. I can't stand series 2 Rose, but I do like series 1 Rose.
Yeah.
Like this is awesome, and in terms of style, the way it was filmed, it actually works very well as the direct lead off from Survivor. Or from Survival, which had been 16 years previous. But I remember seeing the episode, and this was back when I was still taping things on VHS. So I taped the episode, and over the week I watched it over and over again. So I remember being really excited. I'm like, Doctor Who is back. I've been waiting for, 9 years since the disaster that was the 96 TV movie, which has nothing to do with Paul McGann. That's an entirely different story. Long story short, Fox, who had part ownership, and it was filmed in Canada, by the way. But Fox, which had part ownership, had decided to put it up against the season finale of Roseanne, which was the Dan has a heart attack episode. So it didn't have a chance in hell. I actually didn't even watch the 96 movie live. I had taped it because I was a big Roseanne fan. And so I watched that instead and then watched Doctor Who later. But it was like, my God, yes, we have Doctor Who back. This is awesome. And God damn it, he's leaving. So at least in the UK, you guys had 1 week of not knowing that Eccleston was leaving, and it wasn't even aired in the US. Series 1 was not aired in the US as in 2005. It was picked up, I think, later that year. I think it may have even been early 2006. So I remember being really excited. I'm like, this Doctor is awesome. This is what I've been waiting for. I love the character of Rose. I love Billie Piper. She was down to earth, just a regular person. The effects I could live with, because really that's what Doctor Who had been known for, not necessarily the best effects. So I just remember watching that episode over and over again, and I'm like, this is awesome. Why is he leaving? And then, of course, that week before I'd seen the episode, they had already announced David Tennant, so we already knew who the next Doctor was going to be. And I remember being, it sounds odd to say this now, but I remember when they announced David Tennant, I knew Eccleston, I knew who Capaldi was when he was announced. Unfortunately, I knew who Jodie Whittaker was when she was announced. I've never watched the Harry Potter films. I had no idea who David Tennant was. So in going into it, and I think earlier that day before the episode aired, I was like, well, let's see what this David Tennant person can do. And I saw clips from Casanova. I'm like, my God, this is who you've picked. Okay, the show is dead.
Yeah.
Which I was proven wrong. I was also proven wrong with Matt Smith. Entirely different story.
I was watching Casanova because it was a big thing. My mum used to watch that in the house. And when he was actually cast, I was gutted. I was actually good because, like you, Christopher Eccleston, it was mad because it was 2 or 3 episodes in, and then we found out he was leaving, and then he was going around doing interviews and saying, well, basically, in the old days, we used to do 20-minute episodes, and this is how we tried to rationalize it at the time. But now we all know what happened later on, because obviously the book and stuff.
Well, I keep forgetting what did happen.
Right, so basically what happened was he was sacked without being told, and they had already cast David Tennant, and he had found out. Cheryl had read the book. I still haven't read the book. So
he doesn't mention that in the book.
Does he not?
He basically says that had there not been issues with some of the production team, like he and RTD, Grand. As a matter of fact, RTD asked him specifically for it, and he was a huge fan of what he was doing and everything. I think it was some of the directors.
It was Phil Collinson. They didn't get along at all.
It just created so much tension stuff. But Eccleston's book doesn't actually say he does talk about how it blacklisted them, and
it was also reportedly. He clashed with one of the directors. It's never been made clear which one it was.
Keith Boak, wasn't it?
That's always been my my presumption, because Keith Boak directed the first block.
Right?
Because Rose, World War III, Aliens in London.
That's what it was. He was criticising some of the. I remember at the time, because there was articles out. Christopher Eccleston wasn't happy about some of the monsters that.
It was the farting aliens specifically, as far as I know. He thought they were ridiculous, and I don't think
he thought it was bathroom humor.
Yeah, because there's no way it would have been Euro Slynn, because he returned after that, and the other ones I think were just one-off directors. But yeah, the story goes is when they were casting the Ninth Doctor in auditions, Christopher Eccleston had been the first choice. David Tennant had been the second choice. So at some point, and as far as we know, it was while the series was still filming, David Tennant had been informed, if you want the role, it's yours. And I think Tennant actually knew long before Eccleston knew, and he was under a non-disclosure agreement, so he couldn't actually he couldn't even tell his family that he was going to be the Doctor. But it's one of those things where it's, well, in the UK, this is kind of how the broadcasting works. So you had Rose, which was March 26th. You had The End of the World, which aired on April 2nd. So it was they were Saturdays. So Canada was a week and a half behind. So you guys had 2 episodes. So Rose and The End of the World before this had been made public, when Eccleston was doing his press runs. We got, I believe the departure announcement, from what I remember, was made on Sunday. I think it was Sunday, April the 2nd. So the day after End of the World aired. And if anybody was part of Doctor Who fandom at the time, it was nasty. That Outpost Gallifrey, which was the predecessor to the forum, which shall remain nameless. I remember they actually had to shut down comment sections. Or they actually ended up having to shut the forum down for 2 days because of the explosion. But it was interesting times. So at least in the UK, like I said, you had 2 episodes knowing that Eccleston was going to be the Doctor. The rest of the world didn't get that. And in the US, it was only hardcore fans watching because they weren't getting the show at all. So they were sailing the high seas with their pirate hats. This was 15 years ago, so I'm sure the statute of limitations is over by now, but who cares anyway, because they couldn't watch it. But yeah, it was interesting times. But no, I have fonder memories of series 1 than I do of any other run. And I think there's something magical about that season. I can watch any of those episodes and it brings me right back to 2005 and just the excitement of Doctor Who coming back. And I think even the cheapness of the production, I think, actually adds to its charm.
Right.
You don't notice it because the story is so good. I watch Classic Q. I get the worst case of the church giggles because stuff's bad, but it's like that initial first few seconds, and then Noel will tell you I'm immediately sucked in, and the giggles are gone. But I mean, kind of like that. It's like, even though it's cheesy, you can still get sucked into the story because it's so good. You can look past that. And I think that's the problem is there's so much brilliant stuff happening on screen that even if it doesn't look like this cinematography genius kind of thing put together, it's still really good. And the acting, wasn't this early in Billie Piper's acting career?
This was right after she had retired from her music career. So I think she
was like
20. She wasn't known in the U.S. until Doctor Who. Like she wasn't popping the charts over there.
No, well, I had known who she was. She was part of the Britney Spears Backstreet Boys thing. I think it was, it was the late 90s. I think it was 98 when she was on the charts.
I'm a Billie Piper fan, right? I can hold me head up. The first time I saw Billie Piper on TV is when she had released her first single, and she was on, I don't know if it was called Good Morning Britain at the time. I think it was called GMTV or something. And she was on there and she was talking about her struggles. So she struggled through her childhood. She was bullied a lot and stuff. And this is why she sang the song Because You Want To, because she was kind of making a stand for young girls back in the day. Like she was like the Spice Girls, but for the younger, the girls her age could look up to. And then obviously she had a couple of hit singles.
Yeah, I remember Honey to the Bee, I think was one of them.
Was another one.
Because we want to.
Yeah, that's it. Whatever that one was called. It was actually, it's kind of catchy in the cheesiest sort of way.
Yeah, it is. I'll put it on. Do you know what I'll do for you later on? Another way to do a video. I'll get a Billie Piper song up, right? And I'll put a part of the video so you can listen to a Billie Piper song. But listen, her music career was actually taken off. And then all of a sudden, she just decided that she wanted to get into acting. And of course, then Doctor Who was our first role. Listen, Billie Piper personally not got a problem with, but Rose the character later on in the series. But there is, even in series, this first episode, little things that kind of she comes across as selfish and self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Yes, but she's also a 19-year-old girl. So, I mean, I got to cut her some slack.
Exactly. Exactly my full through thing. Like, she's just a typical teenager who are all teenagers are far less self-absorbed than Rose, actually. You know? But I think she was a typical 19-year-old. I agree with you completely.
But I think what RTD did, which was good, she did have arrogance, which got out of control in series 2. But it wasn't necessarily unearned, because it really was Rose that saves the day in the episode with her gymnastics routine.
So, right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's not unearned arrogance, where it's not like Yaz, where it's you're the bestest ever for doing nothing.
Rose earned it. You're right. Rose did earn it, and she did do stuff in it to actually, she wasn't just eye candy. This is the thing. Like, Yaz, you're right. She does not, but Rose actually had stuff to do. I do like Series 1 Rose. There is parts, Series 2, see, when they start adding we'll get into it when we get to Series 2, but when they start adding the whole romance element to it, that's when it lost it for me. See, David Tennant, she loved Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, but it wasn't that sort of love. It wasn't like, I want to kiss you love. It was love of someone that she could relate to. She knew that he was hurting just as much she was, because losing her father, you could see it all through. It has had an effect on Rose's. It does have an effect on her life. So they do help each other, and there was mutual respect. But as soon as he changes his face, this is why I would say I do like David Tennant, right? Yeah, to a certain extent, he overacts as some. But when he's with, I think he's best serious for me personally, but we will get to it later on, is with Catherine Tate.
Well, with Donna, but I think they're even bringing in Series 2 and comparing it to Rose, and really, most of Series 1, there is a legitimate comparison to be made, and it's the way she plays against Christopher Eccleston and the way she plays against David Tennant, and the way these two very different incarnations of the Doctor were written. Eccleston was one of the darker versions of the Doctor. And he there was an arrogance about him, but he was written as a damaged character, obviously, because of the Time War. So there is that vulnerability with Eccleston throughout the season, and he wasn't willing to put up with Rose's crap. He would call her out. So it was more like a mentor-apprentice relationship. And I think the character of Rose works best when she's against that kind of Doctor. It's the dynamic between her and David Tennant and the way the second Doctor was played that doesn't work, where they were both very arrogant. So
my boyfriend's ever so dreamy. I wonder what our wedding will be like. That's how she was. I mean, for me personally, just as a woman, what irritated me the most about the regression in Rose's character was all of those great, amazing, strong characteristics that she had. And you were like, yeah, well, that's pretty amazing for a 19-year-old girl. I mean, I don't know how I have the balls to go up against like a killer mannequin or anything at 19, but she was ready to do all that. And she had that strong character, and she wasn't willing to just accept that's just the way things are kind of thing. But then when we slipped into Tennant, she wound up keeping that part of her character, but then developing the part that none of us, which is the clingy, whiny, I need this man to define me, and he's everything, googly eye kind of thing. That's what just sucked everything out of Rose for me, is because if they would have gotten rid of this whole lovey-dovey thing, oh my gosh, it could have been so much better. But that's, I think, why everyone kind of turns on Rose, is because she went from someone who idolized the Doctor as this strong, amazing person that unleashed confidence and skills in her that she didn't know that she had, and could take her on these fantastic journeys. Because honestly, who wouldn't want to be with all that? But then it just became so clingy. Like when Mickey asked if he could join, and she all but threw a full out temper tantrum, which it's like, don't be that girl. No females, don't be that girl. We don't like that. It's icky.
And there's some things about Series 1 as well, which most of this was shot in 2004 with the final episodes and post-production and some minor reshoots in 2000 or early 2005. And I believe the regeneration scene was the first part was shot in when they finished the season, and David Tennant's regeneration scene was shot actually not long before the episode aired. And now I'm completely forgetting what were we just talking about? I have got the Alzheimer's today.
Regressing as a character.
Yeah, talking about how Rose changes. But I mean, honestly, I think it's hard to talk about right now. I think
that's actually, Rabbi, that's where I was going. The Alzheimer's has reversed itself temporarily. So this was filmed in 2004. Now, if this were to be filmed in 2020, we would be looking at these things in an entirely different context, because there are things there where now we would look at it as a clear agenda. But this was 2004, so it's and especially the treatment of Mickey. If that were done now, that would be an agenda.
Oh, right.
But,
you're right.
But I think given the time that there wasn't really, RTD didn't have any, like, he had minor agendas. He wrote things from his own perspective, but he was first and foremost concerned with the fans. He wanted to deliver a good show. So in that episode, from the context of when it was done, I kind of liked the way they portrayed Mickey. And what RTD also needs to be given credit for is there was also a very clear arc planned out for Mickey. Whereas when we meet him in Rose, he's treated like this bumbling fool. Whereas if it were now, he would be treated as this bumbling fool. He would have been like Graham. He would have stayed like that, and there would have been no development.
Which would have been so infuriating, because then when we get to where he stays in Parallel Earth and takes over for Ricky, it would have been so anticlimactic and not even believable if they would have written him differently, because every time Rose needed Mickey, he was there. Yeah. And even though he was resentful against the doctor for doing it, he got it. It's you could just see how Mickey defined, like every time they brought him on screen from Rose on, you saw that little bit of growth, and he became more interesting to where you were rooting for him.
Yeah, and that was, as far as I could tell, the whole and it actually, I think it was for Mickey and Rose. And even Rose's mother as well.
Love some Jackie.
I love Jackie.
Is awesome. But it was this arc of development. We don't see this anymore in entertainment because everybody is perfect. But even with the Doctor as well. So really all four of them, we see this developmental arc through really the entire RTD tenure, even going back to when Rose finally comes back. And that's what I miss about things like this, where you don't have those anymore. It's just presented as is without explanation. And I don't know, I know, Noel, you haven't really watched much Doctor Who. Have you gone back to watch Rose since the atrocity of 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, we've been watching. That's what I said at the start. We started off with Rose because I couldn't stomach watching a classic episode, so I thought I'd ease myself in with a light-hearted one. So we started off with Rose. We're actually on series 2 now, aren't we?
The Impossible Planet.
Yeah, we're on the Impossible Planet now.
Oh, that's fun.
Look at, I've even noticed it's just RTD for me, golden age of New Who. I'm being honest, the first 4 series, I didn't like his specials, to be honest with you. Waters and Mars was great, but the rest of them didn't like them, to be personally. That's just me personally. Someone mentioned it. I think it was you, boss.
You're not a true fan. You're not entitled to your opinion.
The carry on story arc from David Tennant's Doctor, when he lost his shit and he started to actually play God and save people that he shouldn't have saved. I would have loved them to actually continue that with it for another maybe couple of episodes.
Yeah, we said during my stream yesterday. That's what I said. I wanted to do at least one episode.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been fantastic, I think.
It would have been interesting.
Well, I've now that we're so far away from the RTD and Moffat eras, I think we can look at them more objectively in terms of what they mean when we compare Rose to when we compare Moffat. I only take Moffat's first 4 series as real Doctor Who. There is too much interference going on with this final 2, but their approaches are very different, and you can see this in Rose, where It's still a fantastical science fiction show.
Yeah.
But what RTD did was he grounded it in reality, whereas Moffat grounded it in fantasy. I think both approaches are completely different, and you can tell tonally the two eras are completely different. But I think what RTD did, especially introducing it with Rose, it's still a science fiction show, but it's grounded in reality. Like Rose, I don't like the music montage at the beginning, but Rose, this is, you understand that, this is a real person. This is somebody that lives in a council estate, living with a single mother whose father has died. So that, I think, was one of the best things RTD did in terms of bringing new fans in, because old diehard Doctor Who fans at that point were given we were going to come in. But he had to find some way to get a new audience coming in. So I think introducing it, and he even said this was right when it aired, this is not going to be like the original series where you have companions, but other than their first episode, you don't know anything about their backstory, really. They're just traveling with the Doctor. What RTD did was he wanted to understand where these characters are coming from. So that's why Rose had a family. Rose had a boyfriend. They didn't just disappear after.
And it was brilliant. It was such a brilliant addition. It was just, it's absolutely fantastic. I love that. That's one of the best thing added in.
Ridiculous and annoying. You rooted for Jackie. You cared about Jackie because she was everybody's mom or everybody's friend. Right. Like all the characters were very relatable. And we were saying this before you joined us, is that the diversity was abundant and the messages were abundant. They just weren't thrown in your face and you were being told. Stories were intricate, but the writers assumed you had some sort of working brain cell and could probably see where things were going or come to your own conclusion, because you may watch it and still feel differently, but at least it was there. But it was presented in that it gave both sides of the argument. I mean, it covered all those things, but I think the biggest thing of all, and we keep coming back to it, is everyone was relatable and nothing felt forced. I mean, this whole fam thing is so forced. It's like when you're a kid and you're forced to do a group project and people are like, crap, I don't want them.
It's a corporate bonding day.
No, not Yaz. Anybody but Yaz on my project.
Oh God, anybody but Yaz, please.
But I think what you're saying, Cheryl, about natural diversity, it is evident here. Yeah. And now we notice it. You can get the BBC checklist for every episode in series 12 and say, okay, check. Yeah. But back in 2015, which, I get early April when I first saw it, you didn't notice it. I didn't notice what race Mickey is, because back then, it might come as a surprise to some young folks. We didn't care about that stuff.
Nobody
back then.
cared.
We saw Mickey.
Cared.
We're not saying we're not acknowledging people of color, because definitely struggles are different, life is different, all that stuff. No one's saying like ignore color completely or that's what we did.
It's just a non-issue.
Like I could only do something if it was completely diversely represented by, it has X number of Asians in it, X numbers of the LGBTQ. Like it wasn't like that. We were there, and the story was there, the people were there, and they were written in a way that you cared about them and liked them, that it literally didn't matter if Mickey was white, black, male, female, any other race, gender, however we're classifying people in today's era, which I can't even keep up with, because there's however you want to be classified as a person. It wouldn't have mattered, because the way they wrote Mickey as a character, you watched him, you rooted for him, you cared about him. You felt punched in the gut for him when Rose was like, Mickey, or no, I don't really want to hang out with you. You felt that. You cared about that. And then when he finally was able to have his moment to shine, you're standing up, clapping for him, cheering for him and everything. And the same thing when Rose would actually go out against someone and do what the doctor said. You were still cheering for her, regardless if she was arrogant. It was all there. I was equally invested in whatever happened to Rose as I was to Mickey or anyone else in the story, where as opposed to now when people are coming in, They're there for 2 seconds. Hi, I have met a diversity quota. Now you can kill me. And then they're off the screen because they just had. I find that much more distracting
Exactly.
and pulls me out of the story than when
Right.
everything's there and it's showing us. Okay, yes. I mean, it did look representative. It was acknowledged. It just wasn't so punching you in the face with it, which is what made it
Because
enjoyable.
we're naturally a diverse society. That's why. You know, I just realized the reason. You know what's really strangling in the writing in current day Doctor Who, but also I think all of the entertainment industry, is that they treat anybody in the progressive stack. If you're like whatever LGBTQ, if you have a different color skin, whatever, but they treat them like they've just been a rescued slave. What's that movie like? 7 Years a Slave. Right at the end, when they rescue him and he's brought out to his wife. That's how they write. All that, like anybody. If you're like, again LGBT, they write with like they're terrified of of the abuse that you've just been ashamed and terrified that of upsetting you for the abuse that they personally have been a party to. And that's why we get useless stories.
Well, and what I can't get is how no one's calling them out then on the other end of what's flipping everyone out, the white savior. So Jodie is the only person that can come in and they write it in that way as opposed to this alien doctor that's coming in. She's so human with her interactions, and yet they want us to buy that she can't figure out how to tell Graham, you know what? I don't have all the answers. I bet you are scared about your cancer, and I'm sorry. I'm here for you.
You're a bit socially awkward.
I mean, of course.
I think that's the worst part of Doctor Who ever.
We know the doctor's awkward, but he's not without compassion. That's what defines him as a character, or her as a character, the compassion, and she doesn't have it, what makes everything so infuriating.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, this is a good time to bring this in. I was reading this, was it yesterday? It's the Doctor Who Companion for season 1, because I knew we were watching this, and it's got the pitch in it that Russell T Davies wrote out for Doctor Who.
I screenshot it. It's bleeding deadly. It is.
Yeah. I mean, listen to his description of the Doctor. He's white. Your Doctor, your best friend, somebody you want to be with all the time. Jodie Whittaker, never. I don't even want to be. I don't want to be in the same room as her. He's wise and funny, fast and sarky, cheeky and brave. None of that. What? Not even close with
but
Whittaker.
She's stunning and brave. Stunning and brave.
Oh yeah. And this is the biggest indictment. And considering he's an alien, he's more human than the best human you could ever imagine. That's just so not. Again, the best human you could ever imagine wouldn't go, ew, I'm a bit socially awkward, Graham. I'm like, no. You must be a hero.
This is the thing.
What was the episode with the index cards, Noel? You know, where he's like, I'm sorry for the loss of your cat, your dog, or like he knows he's socially awkward. Those were very specific things for a very
hang on.
Like maybe losing your cat wouldn't resonate with him the same way. Someone afraid of dying absolutely would resonate with the Doctor.
Right. Hello? Where did we go?
I don't know. I think Noel fell over. Or Ted.
It sounded like it was just about bad reply to you.
Teddy, come here. Yeah, it's
you found Teddy. Okay, fine. So everything's okay.
Yes, everything's okay. I have Ted.
No need to worry. Okay. Okay. And then there was one. Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Teddy. Hello, Teddy.
Hello, Teddy.
Oh, you're so cute. He's a cute dog.
I've got a super chat to read out anyway. Stephanie Littlepage with a $5 super chat says, I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch the latest Doctor Who, even though my husband still watches them for review. Yeah, honestly, I would avoid series 11 and 12.
Yeah, no, it's not Doctor Who. There's no need to see it. Don't do it.
wait until Series 14 comes along, and then watch
Right.
for who again. Wait
Or
until
50, whenever the age ring is over.
But I mean, the Doctor, going back to what Cheryl was saying, I just wanted to add a little bit to it. But the thing about it is, right, yeah, we know the Doctor's socially awkward, but there's always been a moment in every season where a companion or someone needs the Doctor to basically comfort them. And the Doctor has always done so. I do not buy this whole thing with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor about socially, because we know the Doctor is socially awkward, as Cheryl has said. But as I said, there has been moments when the Doctor has stepped up, always steps up. That's the point.
Yeah.
The Doctor steps up to the plate.
Whittaker has never, ever stepped up.
Of us. That's why he's trying to. He wants to make us the best. He knows that we have potential, and that's why he goes and he does, and he saves us time and time again, because he knows that we have potential, and that's why he'll do anything. And when it comes to these socially awkward situations, when it comes to something real, when someone is really in trouble, I mean, for feck's sake, this whole thing as well, like in Heaven Sent, like he lost Clara. Look what he went through. Look what he went through when he lost the companion, right? And then you see that scene with Jodie Whittaker and Graham's talking about his cancer, and she just totally like sidesteps it. That annoyed me more than anything else, because I'll tell you why. It's not just that my family's been touched by cancer, or other families have been touched by cancer. It's the arrogance of the BBC afterwards when people had actually said, listen, you were actually wrong. You upset a lot of people. But instead of apologising, to come out with some bloody statement, oh, the Doctor socially awkward, don't give me that. It's situations when the Doctor needs to step up. The Doctor has always been there. And this is why I don't play Whittaker. Is that Ted? He's Teddy or something?
Sorry.
That's Ted. Yeah.
He's got the tennis ball rope.
Oh, God, he's tennis ball rope.
And if I mute it so you can't hear him, then I can't hear you. It's kind of
once he's happy. He's happy.
He's happy. Okay, you best have a choice: noise or mess. Just choose one.
Just happy as can be.
Right, exactly. Okay, fine.
But here's the thing about Rose, right? Rose was a great companion to introduce, right? Because Rose is there. Every companion is actually basically there for us. We see through the companion's eyes, right? And we also do sometimes see through the Doctor's eyes, but mostly, we relate to the companions. Yes, we do relate to the Doctor, but we're following the companion's journey. And with Rose, you do feel that she is, and this is the thing about RTD, and this is the difference between him and Chibnall, is that RTD is very clever with character development. Even with Mickey, as Cheryl was saying, Mickey, we get to see progression in his character. I mean, even in Father's Day, we get to see a very young Mickey, and we get to see that even as a young child, older Rose, he clings on to older Rose.
So right, that was cute. I like that.
You know what I mean? So you can kind of see that, she's imprinted herself on Mickey's life, and Mickey didn't actually realize it, obviously, at the time. You know what I mean? So it's brilliant. I just think, look, RTD is just a genius. He knew Ball Stretch was right. He knew he knew he had the old fans, right? But he had to find a way, and a clever way, of getting the new Who fans on board. And I think Rose as the first companion was Billie Piper was the best choice. She would have related to a lot of the newer fans.
Right. She brought in that massive female audience.
Yeah.
When it came to, you got to remember, there was nothing like this in the TV landscape at all. It was a massive risk. Nobody knew it was going to work. Most people were predicting it was going to fail. There was no show where it was like you had science fiction and it was fun, it was fantasy, and it was contemporary all at the same time. You just had no show like that, and nobody knew how to process it. And then people were like, I remember, like, that trailer, Bolstrek was talking about. That first trailer
That's
when
a brilliant trailer. That trailer
Exactly.
is one of the best trailers. That everybody says it. That's the best.
wonderful. You
That
want to
is
come with me?
the
But
best trailer they've ever released.
that bit where they cut in a montage of like the special effects, which we've never seen that quality before on Doctor Who. You see the Slovene ship crashing into Big Ben. We've never seen that kind of quality on Doctor Who, and it was breathtaking. So when this came back, and people slag off the special effects of Rose, but like seeing that massive nesting and things like nobody had seen that before. We were all impressed with it, and I think we're all kind of just in shock how good it was. When it came, this was just it's completely revolutionary, and I think really something that really it sets out is how much Russell T Davies understands. I mean, like deeply understands what Doctor Who is. He understands it on such a level, and then he can fuse that with contemporary TV. And I honestly, I'm watching this as a pilot, and it is just perfect. It just it tells you a full story. It hits every note, every character you fall in love with straight away, and you understand. And it wants you. I had to stop myself going to the end of the world, right afterwards, because it was just so much freaking fun.
Well, the fact that they could write Jackie, as irritating as she is, into somebody that you'd still want to hang out with, because she was just so Jackie. She just was an absolute mess, but then you could just see the love she had for her daughter and everything, and
it's a great performance as well. Camille Caward is fantastic.
And they were smart with the way they came up with Rose, because they came up with someone who looks like your average girl. She wasn't so stunningly gorgeous, like that they made her so stunningly gorgeous that she was unrelatable, that she looked like this person you couldn't. And then they didn't have her in this lifestyle that no one can relate to. Like you said, she was a working teenage shop girl with the boyfriend, living in a council estate with her single mom, eating chips, having the crack, and they didn't have to go into massive details. Even if you didn't understand the deal with her losing her father and stuff like that. The way they wrote her, they gave you just enough information to care about her as a person, as a character, and someone that you wanted to root for and that you could get mad at, but then you'd still forgive her and stuff like that. Where when you look at a lot of what you're seeing today, and not just Doctor Who, but the way they're writing the characters, they're just so in your face. Like, did you know I'm a strong, independent woman? Great.
God, I know. It's like South Park.
Okay, well, how about you just show me you're a strong, independent woman?
Actually, what Russell Davies does, which they can't do today, he's very good at making you love a character by showing you doing them by showing you them doing something bit naughty, something bad. Yeah. Like Jackie was like, you saw her like, oh look here, she don't know what she said, her skin, or she looks like an old Bible. She does. She looks like and she's always like being lippy and pushing her and pushing to places she doesn't want to go, and you just gotta love her. You're like, oh, I know that person, and they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
And Mickey, and don't look at my email, and you just like the cheekiness of them all.
Yeah.
And you can even not be mad at Rose for wanting to go back and save her dad. You get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get why the doctor's annoyed, and you can understand his outrage because of what she's doing, that she can't see the picture. But you also get why she can't see the big picture, because she's a girl, and that's her dad, and she has the opportunity to save him. And I was just going to say, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you look at the intro to Rose and the couple minutes they spent building her up in that montage at the very beginning of the episode, and compare it what they did with Jo when they brought her in, they showed her so much longer, doing so many more things and all this stuff. And you still were like, right, but why do I care about you as a person?
Yeah.
Like, for Rose, you were like automatically like, okay, well, there's going to be something going. And when something happens,
right. The only thing about Dr. Ruth was her performance. There was nothing in the writing.
No.
I'm sorry. Carry on. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No. You're exactly right. You didn't. You're exactly right. It's she was able to act it strong enough that you were like, okay, whatever. But just fact that he had invest so much time at that beginning montage to try to get us interested in someone who's going to be a major character development that you're okay. It shouldn't have taken that long, because with good writing, you're showing Rose is just going about her average day, and it's a little bit here, and it's great. And I do love the fact that Rose is cheeky and she's not willing to just take what the doctor says at his word, but she's not obnoxious about it. She's like, but why should I trust you? But when he first extends a hand and says, nice to meet you, Rose, I'm the doctor, now run. She doesn't have
yes.
Chills here. I got chills up my spine when that happened. Oh, seriously, that was the moment for me when he popped onto the screen and he just says run. That's it. And then that little scene right at the end, Cheryl, where he tells her that he's about to bleed and blow up the shop basically, and he asks her name. Oh no, he doesn't. He closes the door. He tells her to go, and then he opens the door. He goes, "Oh, I'm the doctor, by the way. What's your name?" And she goes, "Rose." And he goes, "Run for your life." And I'm like, and then he closes the door. I'm like, yes, that's the doctor. Straight away, that was the doctor. That's why I was gutted. Two episodes in, then here he's going, and I'm gutted.
The action was there. There wasn't like a moment during the episode, even slower moments when you have to slow down the pacing.
Yeah.
It never got boring. There was always something going on or interesting dialogue that actually related to what was going on in the episode.
Right.
That even if it was like, hey, maybe this environmental thing is a concern we should look at. It wasn't like, tonight on a very special episode of Doctor Who, do not use plastic. It's like, settle down. Okay, I just wanted to watch the show, or maybe I'd like to get my mind off because I'm quarantined for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll just. I was actually thinking that while I was watching this. Like, I can't imagine anyone watching like Chris Chibnall Doctor Who and feeling elated and wanting a break. Like when I was watching, Rose, I also watched as in the pilot, episode 1 of season 10. I just it was a break. It was a break from like, is the world about to end? I could really use a break from that, that nagging thought at the back of my head. Is this the end of civilization? They've run out of toilet paper. That sounds bad to me. You know, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world, but it might be. I mean, this could be the way we go down. Who knows?
But this is the thing, entertainment now. This is where entertainment is supposed to step up. This is where these shows that we love, that we come to love, should be actually giving us some sort of escapism instead of actually smacking us across the head with messages. This is the time now, because people will do different things to cope, right? And let's be honest, a lot of people will either end up watching TV, listening to music, or being on YouTube or whatever it is, or watching their favorite show. That's what some people will do if they have to self-isolate. They'll all sit down and watch, right? But if you were to sit down and watch series 11 and 12 during this crisis, right?
God, you'll kill yourself.
I know. You'll end up
Suicide hotline.
You'll end up wanting to go outside to catch the belly bug just so you don't have to watch it anymore. That's how bad that era is. I'm telling you. I just don't like where it's gone. What? Sorry, Cheryl?
I said the thing I'm most resentful about is what we talked about, is how it's slowly tainted the old ones, because there's always something like just right in the back of your head going, did you see the diversity? Did you get the message? Something. You're just like, I just want to watch it and enjoy it. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But like you're saying, they're an escapism. So like when you're watching them, you wind up becoming stupid. I mean, I sat there with that, ridiculous Ted face that he makes, like it's so good. I'm so happy. There's just fun stuff, because it's exciting and it takes you away from it. And there's a crisis and you're nervous, even though you know how it winds out. But the whole thing about the doctor is to give you hope and make you feel better and be comforted and reassured, which I think right now probably a lot of people want. I probably don't want to watch Orphan 55 right now, because I'm pretty sure that would send me into a tailspin. So it's it's supposed to be fun. And I'm not saying no, there shouldn't be diversity or there shouldn't be messages. But when you're writing something just around that, you need to write a brilliant story.
Yeah.
You put the people in that can do it. And great. Don't write a character like this character must be a white person, blah, 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 like whatever. Don't write your stuff that way. Write a good story, find qualified people, and it will do well. Because that's the thing about when we were watching Doctor Who, it was engaging, it was interesting, it was well written, the characters had strong development. There were story arcs that went seasons ahead. The fact that we keep those in-jokes going on, the "Are you my mummy?" or the Fez or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
it's something that kept going. But then when Jodie brought it up, it kind of made me cringe because it was like,
yeah, like shut up with bow ties, you know, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know,
But
you're not impressing anybody with your stupid bow tie. When you put that stupid expression on your face, like that, wearing the bow tie doesn't help. It doesn't help. Maybe you put it around your face so we wouldn't have to see it. Oh, God. I hate
Like,
that.
And you know what really bad thing is I think he's still with Lexi.
Oh no, I just got
yeah.
back.
Oh, good.
We're having tummy problems, so I'm just watching her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one thing that occurred to me as well that I think this episode does well was the decision as to whether or not to include a regeneration sequence, which they did in the '96 movie, which I think worked against it because Paul McGann didn't get much screen time. But what RTD did was this was designed as a jumping off point for people that hadn't seen the show before. So we join Christopher Eccleston. Now the scene when he's talking about his years, we get the hint that he's probably recently regenerated. Now in current canon, I think in the timeline, this actually takes place right after Day of the Doctor. But I think that it was clever where he could have gone in for classic Who fans and had a Paul McGann regeneration scene and say, look, we're continuing. But no, he left it deliberately ambiguous. So this was similar to how the show started originally in 1963, where we're joining him at some point, probably early, but within the regeneration cycle. The only thing we know for sure is he is the 9th Doctor, which that was made clear when the show aired. So up until 2013, we assumed that it was directly following the 8th Doctor. But I think that worked really well where it's like, okay, so new people probably, this is 16 years after the regular run of Doctor Who ended. So for new people, they would just be confused. I'm like, okay, and RTD and the producers in '96 actually admitted that it was a mistake to start with Sylvester McCoy because you start with McCoy and then all of a sudden you have this completely other Doctor or this completely different Doctor, whereas RTD decided not to go that way. He's like, hey, I'm just going to reintroduce new people to the Doctor as he is. And then, 13 weeks later, new fans got to learn about regeneration as well. But I think that was I think that was a clever choice, and I think it works well. And I guess, did leave them with that loophole, but yeah.
Well, as a newer fan, because remember, the very first episode of Doctor Who I ever really sat down to watch, not that I'd seen it on the TV because we had PBS in America, and I knew who Doctor Who was. I wasn't completely ignorant, but I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch it, didn't hang around people that did, whatever. But then the very first time I watched it, it was dinosaurs on a spaceship. And that was kind of sad.
Oh my God, Chibs was your introduction to Doctor Who. I am so sorry.
I was that kind of low. So yeah, so Chibs was. So I was like, I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was the stupidest thing I'd ever saw. I was like, there's no way I'm going to even be remotely interested. This is ridiculous. And then I sat down and watched Rose, and the same thing is, even though I understood that there was a regeneration thing, I think it would have really messed me up at the beginning if they would have shown Paul McGann, had him regenerate into.
I think you're right. Yeah.
It would have been like, okay, wait a minute. Why do I even care about that guy? I think what you said is exactly right. To bring in the newer people, avoiding the regeneration worked really well because it just brought you right to the Doctor, who he was in that moment. We didn't have that. We had the Christmas Invasion where we spent most of it with David Tennant being asleep or not really interacting. Now, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing that episode because when he comes out, he's amazing and it's brilliant the way it is. But
But it's
And-
disappointing. He wasn't in most of it. I have to say, I was always disappointed with that.
Specials made. I think that's one of the best Christmas specials made. To be honest with you, the Christmas Invasion. The fact that he's
I'm not. I think
you love that
generation. It would have been lost on us because we wouldn't have had time to connect with Christopher Eccleston like you guys did when you started watching with William Hartnell or whatever. Like the actor was already established in the role, whereas opposed to we were still trying to figure out who David Tennant was in the Christmas Invasion. And I don't think that would have worked with the reboot because you needed people that hadn't seen it before to watch in and then be like, bam, hit the ground running, which is what it did. And then it just kept that pace going the whole time. And it's what made you want to watch the next one. And it was still a little choppy. And it probably took me about till the 4th episode before I was convinced, all right, this is something I want to watch. So by the time I did come back to Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, I had a little bit of like forgiveness recovery built in already. But yeah, I think if they would have done the regeneration at the beginning of Rose, it would have thrown it all off.
I think another. Oh, go ahead, Rabbi.
Oh, you go. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think another thing that was a wise choice as well, where is that RTD didn't introduce the plot thread that the Time Lords have been destroyed in this episode, because I think for new fans that might have been a little plot heavy because it's like, well, who are these people? Where RTD saved that for the end of the 2nd episode, where maybe within the week in between, people that had discovered this show may have done some research and looked into some of the earlier things. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think the BBC was streaming in very low 2005 quality. But I think on the iPlayer, from what I remember, I think they were actually streaming some of the classic episodes as well. So people could get a refresh. And for me, I think one thing that Rose in series 1 means to me is this was when I actually became a Doctor Who addict. Whereas, I started watching the show when I was 3 in 1981. So by the time series 1 aired, I'd been watching for 24 years. But it was 2005 where I became a complete addict to Doctor Who, which actually lasted until series 10 when it was kind of destroyed for me. But I remember the months leading up to it, just watching the DVDs over and over again, spending hours on forums and message boards. And yeah, it's with Rose and the lead up to it is what turned me into a full-on Doctor Who addict. And for me, it lasted, 12 years until 2017. So I think the experience for those of us that knew the show before was very different because this was, and even now, those of us that were around with the classic series to this day, and I'm going to watch Rose when we're done with this because I didn't know we were recovering today, but now I want to actually watch the episode again.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so worth it.
Yeah.
I'm glad because look, I'm just glad that people, because when I put up the little trailer for that I was going to be doing this, a lot of people have actually went that couldn't stomach watching Doctor Who did have decided to actually watch Rose again. And the one thing that's coming across is that, like as Rabbi said, it's freaking awesome.
It really is so much fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It has aged badly. Actually, to me, adds more charm to it. It actually has more of a classic feel to it now because the effects and you can see the picture quality is not the greatest either, but the writing is just way above anything.
Right. I mean, listen, does anybody care about Genesis of the Daleks? Not having the best special effects? No, nobody cares.
No,
even for the time they didn't.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think something very. Sorry, go ahead.
There's always other people in other fandoms that used to laugh at Doctor Who fans because they'd look at this show from the outside and think it was an absolute complete joke. But fans of the actual show could accept that there was shaky sets, accept that the aliens sometimes might be bubble wrap or giant clams. You know what I mean? But because the story, the writing was just far superior. It got you engaged. It kept you enthralled, I mean, Yeah.
Well,
Doctor.
I think this series, I think series 1 through 8 has actually aged very well. I think those series are timeless. The last 2 seasons are going to age horribly. They already have.
Oh,
But there
yeah.
is the effects aside, there is a timelessness, and I've watched series 1 more than any other Doctor Who series or season, because I've got the 2 years ago I picked up the upconverted Blu-ray, but I still have my old DVD Region 1 set, which is a collector's item now because it's been out of print for over a decade. But if you were to see the shape it's in, the DVD is beat to living hell because I've just watched it. It has been watched more than anything else in my collection of several thousand DVDs and Blu-rays. I've watched every episode from that season at minimum once a year. And it's one of those things where if I'm having a bad day, I can watch something from series 1 and it automatically puts me in a good mood. Where I think now, I think I would probably call it my favorite season of Doctor Who. It's probably a tie between the Philip Hinchcliffe era and series 1.
Yep.
Yeah, totally hear it. Yeah. I was going to say something that really came through to me when watching this is how Russell T Davies, viewed this series as a original series, as a new series. It was using Doctor Who as a template, and I don't think he knew it was going to be as seamless to the classic series. He didn't want to do anything to contradict the classic series. But
oh my God. Oh no, go ahead, Rabbi. I got to make fun of Noel in a minute.
Why?
That was a great set. We all love that set.
That set was notorious. So in Region, it was actually, we got them released at the same time, but the Region 1 set, it's a slim pack, but still has the see-through cover. But I remember that box set, the Tardis shaped one, being absolutely notorious when it came out. There were whole threads on Gallifrey base complaining about it, A, because it didn't fit on shelves, but B, if you got the first printing, the things completely fell apart within 2 months. I don't know. How's yours holding together, Noel?
Pretty good. It looks pretty good.
See, ripped down here. Hold on. Don't mind the green behind me, right? It's me fake green screen, right? Right, but there it's ripped down the side, right? Now, also what used to happen with this as well is when you open it up, the discs, the thing holding the discs, it always breaks. So one of the discs always loose. There it is. There, look, it's actually nearly at the falling out there. So one of the discs, this disc keeps falling out, number 2. But it has the booklet. Where is the booklet gone? Actually,
I actually lost my booklet.
I had it there when I was showing it to everybody a couple of weeks ago. All right, I'll have to look for it. But Doctor Who Confidential.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I still have the original.
They rip. He's right. They are notorious, but I have to say it is my favorite. That and the Matt Smith's 4 series box set. It was a metal one. I like that one, but this is my favorite all time.
I still have the because those have the cut down Doctor Who Confidential. I still have on my hard drive the original uncut confidentials, which are not available anywhere now because of rights issues. The quality is crap because they were ripped off BBC iPlayer in 2005. So that by current standards, they're barely unwatchable. But yet, no, I still have them.
Yeah, we've got 2 super chats there. Just want to read them out there. So KC Skyfire 77 with a $4.99 super chat says, the reason why I watch shows like Doctor Who is to escape reality, to be transported to a land where anything is possible. Yeah, entertainment is supposed to be escapism, but today they just want to use it to bash whatever message they want to get across. And we've got an Australian $10 super chat. Katie Sheridan as Romana says travels through time or travels in time.
I can see that. She's an amazing actress.
Yeah, that's in obviously Rebecca Gold. If you haven't actually checked out Rebecca Gold,
yeah, that's who she is. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Katie Sheridan for Romana, that's a good show.
That'd be really fun. Like do a
Yeah.
young Romana. I could really dig that.
Yeah. Or maybe
Somebody get out to Super Geek for his fan film. Let's have her in it. Oh my gosh, it'll be great.
Yeah, and she could even play a female doctor because she has that intensity if you watch Rebecca Gold. So
right.
We all thumbs up that.
Whitaker so doesn't have. It's so funny. Actually, sorry.
Go ahead, Rabbi. Sorry.
I was just when I just got up before because I wanted to try and dig this out. This is my own personal DVD, which I burnt myself of Rose, and because I remember they had this all this promotional stuff on the day it was on. So I got the full Doctor Who Confidential on it, but I also got. Do you remember this? The Doctor Who: A New Dimension. I look back at the past, counting down to the premiere of the new series. Does anybody remember that?
I have that on actually a DVD-R, which I've never ripped, but yeah, I ripped it off CBC in 2005. Oh yeah, I've got all this crap. Like I said, I was
just remembering all that stuff. It was so joyous. Doctor Who was coming back, and and Russell T Davies was doing it. We saw the trailer. We knew the special effects were going to be good. We were all a bit iffy about the costume and about Eccleston. That got blown away in the 45 minutes that it took to be on air, and it was just such a happy time. It was the beginning. Yeah. It was like May. It was like beginning of summer. It was it was lovely.
It was actually, I remember that spring very well because for Canada it was actually an early spring. So and like I said, we saw it in April, but I remember it being very warm for the season. So I just remember it being just a beautiful day. I remember my friend and I we went out to the bar. Well, I guess you'd call it a pub. After with some other friends, and it was just an awesome day. And I think if for the Blu-ray release, if you haven't picked it up, it actually is worth picking up because especially if you're in Region 1, because the DVD is all of the DVDs and what was shown on air was PAL to NTSC conversions. So the quality to begin with wasn't there. If you're in Region 1, then you want to see Doctor Who and the quality that it was meant to be, pick up the Blu-ray. And even if you're in Region 2, it's still standard definition. But the conversion techniques that they used has perfected the video. So it's actually Region 2 is higher resolution than Region 1 anyway. So you guys already had it in better resolution, but they actually look amazing. And they're pretty cheap too.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I got to. I don't think the Blu-rays yet, but
the chat. Welcome, Mega Geek. We were just talking about, as you can see, the Katie Sheridan as Romana. Some people have called. Yeah, that's a good shout. We were just saying here. False Trek says make a good doctor. He does have that intensity. I do agree. If you haven't seen Rebecca Gold, though, we keep saying it, but we want.
Put the link in the chat.
Yeah,
well, I'll get it for you. Let me find it.
We want as many people to watch because obviously the creator behind Rebecca Gold would like to make a Doctor Who fan film, obviously to retcon this nonsense from Chris Chibnall. So instead of watching the Christmas special, we could try get this. And I see there's already a few people on Twitter and on different people's accounts willing to offer help. So yeah, if you have any expertise in editing, I think he's looking for. If I'm correct in saying the last night, I think it was or 2 days ago, you're looking for a video editor. If you haven't, actually let people know in the chat. What you actually need now, right now. I know you want to throw a trailer together, some sort of trailer. So, who do you need to help get that up and running? Let us know in the chat.
Actually, one thing that I'd even suggest those kids that did that Chibs short film. Flowers Productions, I believe they're called. I think they're actually film students. And they obviously do not like this iteration any better than we do, and it's actually very well edited.
They got to know somebody, yeah.
Yeah, I would actually look. I would look into contacting them.
Yeah,
just as an option, because they filmed the thing at former BBC Television Center. So and they watch all of us. They know who we are. So I'd actually look into them.
There you go. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. And I think they're on Twitter as well, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure if you commented on one of their videos on YouTube, they'd get back to you.
Oh yeah, they responded to me and Gary and everybody that commented.
There you go. So yeah, we might as well, because look, I mean, as far as we stand on this channel, it hasn't changed. We're not watching the Christmas special or the new upcoming series. We're not even going to give it.
Have they actually said it's going to be on Christmas? And the only reason I'm asking is because every time I see anything by the BBC or from Doctor Who, all I see is festive special.
Festive, right? Exactly.
Festive.
So you know what? I think they're leaving their options open to air it on Easter, and then get it done and out the way, and have a new special for Christmas with a new team. I think that's an option on the table, because a festive special could be Easter.
It's just festive.
Festive, my ass.
You know, any day's festive. You put it on right now, we're all having a festival.
Like St. Patrick's Day, that's festive. Fine.
Yeah, festive, anything.
No, St. Patrick's Day was canceled this year.
Passover's coming. That'll do.
Listen, it's going to be aired Christmas Day, and I'll tell you why it'll be aired Christmas Day. Because the way they figure it now is that Christmas Day, everybody will be at home, and there'll be no excuses this time. They're hoping that the numbers for the Christmas special, or maybe it's a clever little ploy by the BBC, because they know they will get a jump, and they will, because it's Christmas Day. There'll be nothing on TV at that hour of the night, and people might actually tune in and watch. So
I think what we should do is a live viewing.
Else on.
I don't know. Are you going to review a ball strike? Because I'm sitting here and thinking, you know,
I am going to cover the press around it, because I've been covering this disaster since 2017. So it's more a chronicle of the demise. In terms of whether or not I'll cover the special, I don't give a shit anymore. I hate this show. If I end up doing it, it's just going to be a full-on woke Batman style parody, just making fun of it. And if I do, it might even be the goat that does it. But to be honest, I don't even want to give them the attention. So I will cover the disaster around it. It's still quite a bit of ways away now, but I have no desire to give them attention for the episode. And if I do an episode review, it's not going to have Doctor Who in the title or in anywhere, because that they'll count that. So if I do, it will be called Dr. Nasty Reviewing Christmas Takes a Shit on Doctor Who Fans or something to that nature. I'll get demonetized anyway, but no, at this point, I don't want to give them any money. For the first time ever, I've stopped. I don't think I'm going to review my Big Finish because it has that logo, and because money's being funneled to the BBC. If I get the Blu-ray sets, I'm going to buy them used, which they're always available used anyway. But yeah, I don't want to support them, and I'm a little miffed with Big Finish right now. So I've been supporting you guys for 21 years, and because of various things, I don't want to give you my money anymore.
Wow! Whoa, back this up. What? Just ballpark? What are they doing?
Big Finish. There's been been a few things. I've had an online tiff with Gary Russell, who is the former producer of Big Finish, who was slandering me up and down the internet and then blocked me. So
really?
and he's still associated with Big Finish, but
yeah, he does the cartoon, right? Cartoons or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with him, but there's also Big Finish. Their audience, the people that subscribe to Big Finish audios, are classic series fans. And right now, and in the last little while, they're treating us like we don't actually exist. They were celebrating on Twitter the awful creative decision that was made last week. You're
They
also,
were?
oh yeah,
What do
And
they
you're-
like about it?
Yeah, they embraced it, and then
Oh.
they put out a whole put out a whole load of audios of the Fourth Doctor to kind of they knew what they were doing. They knew that this was going to happen, so they tried to capitalize on it and put out all the Fourth Doctor audios.
yeah.
But
It gets
they
worse.
actually said their mind was blown, and that yeah, and then a lot of YouTubers very quickly said, "Look, you want to reverse that decision, or you're not going to last." But there's been a lot of warning signs with Big Finish over the past.
I could tell you the warning sign, and this may be what.
I mean, they got that Woman's Day one, which is like, oh, it sounds so painful.
Although this is how bad it is. So if you remember, about 7 weeks ago, there was an active attempt to cancel me, and we know the people behind it. I was looking at several of their Twitter accounts, and most of them are followed by Big Finish.
Wow.
So Big Finish, it was a fun 21 years. I'm still listening to some of the older audios, just white noise while I'm at work.
But you're not.
But unless you denounce this crap, unless you show some respect to people that have kept you in business for over 2 decades, you can go fuck yourselves.
Wow, that's crazy.
No,
It's like they really got to know they.
Sorry, Robbo, go ahead.
I mean, like, the only thing I think that became Big Finish like together is the fact they have to sell stuff to us, which I just hope they remember that.
Yeah.
It'll be. Although, listen, are they gonna like? I'm still surprised that Chibnall let them have the license, because it just makes alternative Doctor Who that's so superior to his. It's so crazily superior.
I've noticed that there's been a fall in Big Finish quality. I was defending them for some of the woke throwaway lines that have been showing up in audios, but not so much anymore. And they also have the River Song series, which is the most misandrous thing I've ever heard in my life. So their quality has been going down. And they have the short trips, and a fan of mine in Noel's got his published. Remember that, Noel?
Yeah.
What was that?
I can't even remember which one it was, but yeah, it was one of mine and Noel's quote friends. So no, I'm pissed off with Big Finish, and it's actually RTD is the reason they still have the license, because the BBC wanted to take everything in house.
Yeah, there's a documentary on the DVDs. It's I love that documentary. He's like, I say Big Finish. Do you remember? I love that. He's like, they were gonna like, what is this? He says, don't worry, I have it all under control. And he didn't.
So he's the reason they're still around now. And Stephen Moffat continued the tradition, and Chris Chibnall is obviously still allowing it. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're watching Big Finish degenerate. I didn't think Big Finish was going to go down too, but the warning signs have been there for a few years. And you know what? If you people are going to enable these little shits, that's how I'll describe them. If you're going to enable them, if you're going to support them, if you are going to completely ignore those of us that started buying your product in 1999, then you deserve what's coming.
Yeah. And you know what? We have seen lately that a lot of these YouTubers now, they're starting, they're being so blatant about it. So apparently now there's going to be a hit piece done on all the YouTubers that had a problem with Series 11 and Series 12. There's a couple of big YouTubers. There's one in particular that has only come back after after an absence. It's quite ironic that they come back when Doctor Who's in the shitter, because they know they can make money. And some of these YouTubers that you see, you go to their YouTube channel and the first thing that hits you, buy me merch, do this, do that. They don't give a crap about the content that they put out, like myself, Baldstreck, Gary, Rabbi, anybody that we know on this side that has a YouTube channel. We're doing it because we really care about the show. These other idiots that are starting to cause trouble now on Twitter and actually being blatant about it and tagging us and letting us know, you should do a hit piece on this YouTuber and do a hit piece. And I was called the C word last night, and I was told maybe you should do a video on him. I don't care. If you want to do a video, fine. But if you think we're all just going to sit back and take his our crap, you don't know what's coming. You really don't know what's coming. Look at support this, right? Support this at our own peril, because at the end of the day, right? I believe that we're on the right side of history here when it comes to Doctor Who, right? Yous are on the wrong side. These are sellouts. These are followed, as he said, by Big Finish Moses. But not only that, these are followed by all those other shill Twitter idiots out there that basically have turned around and said things like F canon and other stuff, and writing stupid articles for Digital Spy saying that it fits perfectly, almost fits perfectly into canon, and then don't actually give us examples of where this actually fits into canon. See, this is the biggest thing that actually has annoyed me. And I know we've kind of gone off rows a little bit, but I just want to bring this up. The one thing that I've noticed about that side of the argument is that they keep telling us that this fits perfectly into canon, or almost perfectly, whatever term they use, right? Even the media on their side are using the same kind of terms, right? But they never give examples, right? Now, who was a Screen Rant, whether you like them or not, they actually called out all of the plot holes left by this story arc. So I'd like to say to those people that say that, how can you actually say that this fits perfectly into canon when you can clearly see that it doesn't? And what I'm disappointed in is a couple of YouTubers that weren't quite necessarily as militant as us, but didn't really like it, all of a sudden now think this is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, what's happened to you? Seriously, how can you say that this actually adds layers or fits perfectly when it actually dilutes what the Doctor is? We always assumed that the Doctor was from Gallifrey. Now we know that's not true. Okay, now we know, according to Chris Chibnall, that the whole Time Lord Society, when it came and the regeneration power, was got through the basically experimentation of a young refugee child, and was murdered several times just to find out the secret of regeneration, right? Then we get into the whole Cyber Lords, how dead flesh is able to regenerate and all this crap, and the whole Matrix thing. This does not fit into regenerate. There's perfect examples. Why didn't Clara see all this, right? She was supposed to be in these time stream, right? There's other examples in Classic Who. So, I mean, look, they could say what they want. The public, even, you go into all these articles and you look, and the public outrage, even the public outrage, is not just Doctor Who fans. It's the public themselves have had enough of the BBC. Doctor Who, for me, is basically the breaking point for BBC, to be honest. This is a show that is well revered, even if they don't watch it. The public know of Doctor Who. They know it's a British institution, and they've just watched it be destroyed in front of their eyes. Now, if BBC think by taking a bit of a break and not coming back for 18 months for Series 13 is going to quell any backlash, well, they're clearly mistaken. It's 2 weeks to the day, isn't it? 2 weeks? 2 weeks, right, to the day. And this backlash has not died down. We have seen countless stories of Whovians, right, telling us how much Doctor Who means to them, their personal stories, what characters connected to them in their time in their life when they were struggling and stuff. And it's been heartbreaking, right? And then you have these idiots saying, well, yous are all wrong. You shouldn't have those feelings. And basically, you know, if you don't support what Chris Chibnall's doing, you're not a real fan. Anybody like to add to that? Because I could go on.
I mean, there's not much to add. It's just such rambling insanity, isn't it? And I don't understand what anybody who likes Doctor Who would like about this era of Doctor Who. Like, I don't. It's so. I mean, I would love to find somebody who likes this era just to come on the channel and explain it to me. Like, what is it that you're enjoying? Do you like banality and to be lectured? But no, you know, truth is, they're all enjoying the same thing. They're not enjoying the show. They're enjoying the cultural relevance of the show.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. That's what it's turned into, and it's sad because when you look where it started back in 2005, when it came back onto our screens, it's just completely. It's it's alien. This whole era is alien. It's just
I think it's sad when my parents who didn't ever see an episode of Doctor Who until I had moved back home to help with them and everything. So this would have been in like 2016, 2015, 2016, started getting them into it and everything. That they they think the writing in Batwoman is better than what's going on with season 11 and 12. That concerns me, and the fact that they've only watched it long, and my dad's not been as much of a fan as my mom. My mom will watch like everything she's seen it. Like my dad will kind of like wander in from time to time and everything, and he's like, yeah, I think I need to go back and start with Eccleston again or something, because this is just not working. So my like mid-70s parents who couldn't have been bothered with Doctor Who until the last like 5 years cannot even stand Jodie Whittaker's series because they think they're preachy, stupid, and as my dad has put it, well, isn't he just basically stealing from every other episode and basically movie or television show ever done before? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen this and stuff. So the fact that my dad can pick up on that he's stealing from old episodes, but then somehow managing to take whatever was crap about that old episode and just taking those parts out, I guess. It's like he takes the theory of it, of something that could have been good, and then he just, I don't know, spews like, here's my personal opinion on everything all over it, and it's just stupid. And I hate the fact that like he's already sucked the joy out of it for my parents. And when you look back and you think of how long the classic era ran, and I know I wasn't involved then, but I know that like there were always those debates of who's the better doctor and which doctor ruined classic Who, all those kind of things. But nothing like what I see with this divisive nature with what happened putting Jodie Whittaker and specifically Chibnall's and I think Chibnall has to hold the bulk of the blame here. And I'll be the first to say it that I don't even mind Jodie Whittaker. I don't think she's a horrible actress. I enjoyed her in Broadchurch and stuff. And in interviews she's done outside of Doctor Who, she's actually kind of quirky and funny and interesting and an okay person. So then when I try to reconcile that with what I see on the screen now, it's so disheartening because I see her contempt for the show on screen. And then when she goes and does these interviews, she just is like, I think she enjoys taking the piss out of classic fans or anyone who doesn't like it for a valid reason, and immediately is like, whatever, bye, with her constipated scrawny face and doing what it's just, when you add what Chibnall's done just writing with it, and then you send out your team of TARDIS regulars and have them basically say everything prior to the past 2 seasons was crap. I don't know how as a show you can come back from that. Like I just don't know how that's even something that's forgivable at this point.
Right. Yeah. I was just going to say something. I'm definitely in a total boomer moment. I was just going to say something completely gone. Give me a second. It was.
Look up. It's always floating right above there.
What was about Chibnall? Oh God, no! He's just so forgettable. Really? I was just going to say like, Chibnall was. Who cares? Really? Who cares? Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Like the weird thing about Chibnall is he's so clearly, blatantly ripping things off, like the Cybermen and but that just happened. The Martha. How does he think nobody notices?
Maybe no one will remember in season 10 when we did the following.
I mean, this was just like 2017.
Especially
I mean, given that they've obsessed about 2016 non-stop for the last 4 years, I think we're going to remember 2017.
And science fiction fans are such a different type of people. I mean, these are people like Star Trek conventions, Star Wars conventions, Doctor. You will hear them arguing about the most minute thing because they're so like, no, this is canon or whatever. I mean, it's so devout and it's something that everyone's so passionate about. For them to take this big crap on it and basically be like, we don't care. We absolutely don't care.
They absolutely don't
makes
care.
it so much more awful because you know that this is a group of people that have followed a show for 50 something years, even with this long hiatus, will argue about these little, like, was it this or was it that? Or, because I'm not so familiar with Classic Who, but I mean, I've seen some debates that are just out there, but I get it. So then when you just see Chibnall, I'll be like, yeah, you know what I was thinking? I'll just take canon and do whatever I want. And I don't care.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know what made the MCU so incredibly strong, I think? It was back when it first started, before we had woke Marvel. They had the Marvel, you had like the creative board, the people who were writing comics, Bendis and the other writing, and there was like nearly a fist fight at one of these things about if Spider-Man's web shooter should be organic or mechanical. You know, that's what made the MCU as great as it was anyway. That there was so much passion behind it. You know, like passion behind these things that really didn't matter.
I remember back when we used to debate things on the show, and I think probably the most ludicrous debate I ever got involved in on Outpost Gallifrey, it actually turned into a multi-part thread, and the whole discussion was about where to place the Lost in Time DVDs in your DVD collection. Oh, this is how obsessive we are.
It's a good question. I like that question.
Yeah, well, no, this is what we used to debate. Like I used to spend hours on Outpost Gallifrey when they shut it down in 2009. I think I had something like 30,000 posts on that site, and we just for hours just debate gender and wokeness. Never even entered into it. They did have a separate adult thread for that. But no, it was just we would debate about the show. The DVD thread would be the one that I would frequent most often, and they had a thread that would get probably 100 or so posts a day, just speculating on what DVD releases were going to come out. Like it was a great time.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember that.
It's and this is what we've lost. Where you go to its predecessor, which shall remain nameless. They're not even discussing that. It's all about politics, and all the people that I used to converse with on that site are gone. Like they've either been banned or most of them actually got banned, or they left. And if I ever post on there again, I'll be banned.
Right. Yeah, but their relevance is just like vanishing by the second.
It's this is they don't understand what fandoms were. It was, most science fiction fans until this geek chic bullshit came into being. We were outliers. We would obsess over science fiction, and that whole industry. Well, I don't even know, industry group, whatever you want to call it, is completely gone. It doesn't exist anymore anywhere in any of these fandoms. Why? Because they were attacked and told to shut the hell up. And the people in charge of these, Big Finish, would rather support and retweet these toxic. Sorry, Noel, I may be swearing on your stream.
It's okay.
These toxic little shits, and completely ignoring those of us. Like, we are the reason that Doctor Who is around. Yeah. We are the reason it lasted 26 years. We are the reason it came back in 2005. We are the reason that Big Finish has been around for 21 years. And now we're being told we don't matter. And one debate that really pisses me off is the show doesn't owe you anything. personally, on an individual basis, no. But as a, are you playing music, Noel?
No, sorry, the fucking.
But I was on an individual basis. No, it doesn't owe me anything. But as a group, the group that you have excommunicated, yes, you do owe this group something. And the reckoning is coming. The reckoning is, it's already come.
Right, yeah, it's in it. You know, I put a video about that on, what was it, Thursday, Friday last week, called The Problem of Creator Entitlement. You know, they talk about fan entitlement all the time. There's creator entitlement. You know, they are not entitled to, they didn't make these things. They are custodians. And it's such an honor to be a custodian. And they think they own it. They don't. They don't own it. You know, they're charged to make good stories with it. But if you can't make a good story without having to hack it apart, then you can't make a good story. Start with a good story, and then you know, get, you know, reinvent it from the ground up. But yeah, if you or just reboot it. Be honest about it. But they you know, they just don't want to do that because they know nobody's going to watch.
Well, nobody's watching now, so
Again, I still think they're amazed about that.
And when you manage to alienate the newer fans like me, then you know, you've really like upped your game. So when you've got people that only started watching when New Who was around, never watched a classic episode until the 50th reunion when they showed them all on BBC America when they were building that up, like never saw anything. And I am just so disgusted by what's happened. And then when we went back and we watched Rose, I'm like, yes, this is what Doctor Who was all about. It was action. It was fun. There were monsters. It was ridiculousness, but it was ridiculousness that you could follow. It wasn't so out there that you're like, no.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I look back at some of the earlier episodes too, and I was thinking of that one like now is like with the Pandorica and everything. When you look back, everything happened quickly and you may not have realized what the Doctor was doing. But when they went back and were like, well, here's what happened, they showed you like everything. Like they went through, there was like a little action sequence that kind of put it all together because it would be hard to follow, but it wasn't just like any of the other Doctors going, oh, well, that's simple. That's because I waved my Sonic at it and I did boo, 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 done. And we were just going to be okay with it. No, we want to see this stuff on the screen. We want to know how you managed to get out of this. And the Sonic, it's like with the War Doctor said, well, what are you going to do? Assemble a cabinet at it? It's not just a solve all problem. Yeah. It's there and it's a tool, but it doesn't fix everything. The Doctor has had to get himself out of tons of situations with this. Not the Sonic. It's the brain. And the resourcefulness of the companions and all of that stuff. It's like Rose was someone like you didn't have to worry about wandering off, even though she would do some stupid stuff. She still was out there to do things. Like when these three are on their own, I worry that they might not be able to like find a local police to ask for help getting back somewhere.
I think when they're on their own, they're safer than when they're with the Doctor.
Well,
yeah,
she's terrifying.
As long as Yaz is not running the show, the police officer to end all police officers.
Oh God, she was the greatest ever. Oh my God! Actually, who was it pointed out that Jodie like stayed around to get all this like affirmation about how wonderful she is because she's sacrificing herself at the end of Time as Children, and she accepts all the praise from everyone about that, just how fantastic she is.
Didn't
she said, "Oh yeah, you do it instead."
What the hell are you doing back in the TARDIS? You were supposed to be sacrificing yourself.
Exactly.
Selfish bitch. Why?
It's like, was it?
We've got a couple of super chats there that I need to read out before I go off the screen because I'm on StreamYard here. So Rebecca Gold with a £5 says, Cheryl, it looks like you need a drink. Buy some wine.
Thank you.
You've been told.
Or actually, Noel, you can read the super chats after the fact. Just go into YouTube Studio and monetization, and there's a little tab there that says super. So yeah, you can read any super chat that you've got. That's how I do it.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'll do that the next time now that I know. Justin Doyle with a £5 super chat says, fans are not just fans, they are experts on the subject which is why the gatekeepers hate us all. We call out their illogical BS. I agree. That's why
Oh
they
my gosh,
hate.
Justin, so the fans are not fans, they're experts on this. I just realized Chris Chibnall has ruined every Doctor Who trivia event.
Yep.
Every Doctor Who trivia event is ruined now because there's no way you can say something. And then, am I allowed to say 10? If I say 10, do you know I'm talking about David Tennant? Or do we have somebody else because it's one of the it's trivia was already hard enough because you'd have people battle it out over a little thing. I can't even imagine a trivia now. Forget it.
It's well the whole thing, and I don't know if everybody saw As Heels versus Babyface's video this week, where he compared Jodie Whittaker running away to David Tennant sacrificing his life. There's actually an episode, but David Tennant knew he was going to regenerate. There's actually an episode that completely dispels that aspect of the Doctor's character. Kay Vanderzani, Peter Davison's final episode. In that episode, he gives his life to save Perry. And it's written on screen, and Big Finish actually went into this a little bit further in a audio called Circular Time about 12 years ago. But Peter Davison wasn't sure he was going to regenerate because of what the poison had done to him. So from his perspective, he actually very likely was giving his life to save Perry. So Kay Vanderzani, there are so many plot holes, like so many. But that one that we saw last week, Kay Vanderzani dispels that whole thing. The Doctor would not have left Portal Dude to kill himself. She would have done it herself had she been any other incarnation.
Yeah.
100%. And without, I mean, even when David Tennant had to save Wolf, I mean, he was mad about it because he was like, oh, I like being this doctor or whatever. But he's like, it was just, it's so just his character that he would not let somebody else sacrifice himself. And somebody brought it up in the chat too. But again, she's already known now she can like regenerate forever. So she can't.
Yeah, that was the thing. She knew before that scene. That's what makes that scene even worse. She knew before the old man came in, Moses came in, right? Or what's his name? What's his real name?
I can't even remember. I just call him Portal Dude. Well, yeah, no, in Doctor Who lore, in real Doctor Who lore, but this is Shib's bastardization. The Doctor can't regenerate if his or her, really his, body is destroyed. We saw that in season 6 or series 6 with Matt Smith, even though it wasn't really Matt Smith. But yeah, if the body is destroyed beyond the point that it can regenerate, then it wouldn't be able to regenerate. So if this were anybody that knew what the hell they were doing, Whittaker would not have survived an explosion like that, although Chibs would have just regenerated her anyway. Mm-hmm. But even if she couldn't, Kay Vanderzani completely dispels that entire thing.
There we go.
Right,
we got a super chat. Just one more to read out. Stephanie Littlebridge with a £10 super chat. Captain Robert April's message. Hello, nice to see you again. I'd rather have David Tennant's wife as the Doctor than Jodie Whittaker. Having a previous Doctor as her dad and being married to David Tennant, I can imagine the discussions that would ensue. Yeah.
Georgia Moffat. Yep. She would make a great Doctor.
Come on, this guy didn't like that whole concept, to be honest with you, that they cloned, they basically took the Doctor's DNA. But when she did go out on that spaceship on her own, I thought that at that time, there might have been a possibility. And I know she was kind of pushing it for herself, wasn't she? She wanted a bit of a spin-off because there was such a positive reaction.
Right. Yeah, they were pushing for it. That had been the original plan, but it never came to be. I think it had, because showrunners changed. That was during Series 8. Showrunners changed. It became the Stephen Moffat show. So I think that's what eventually kiboshed that idea. But if you wanted to see a female Time Lord, that would have worked out perfectly.
I like Jenny a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's not my favorite episode, I have to be honest with you, but it's not bad. It has its moments. I mean, the whole thing where she's gone through the lasers is a bit stupid, but we'll get to that when it gets to that episode. But yeah, but getting back to Rose, I mean, that first episode, the one thing I got from it anyway is I wanted to watch more.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That's the biggest thing I'm missing now. That's the biggest thing I'm missing now. You don't want to watch. If you put on The Woman Who Fell to Earth and
Yeah,
you watch
exactly.
that and you won't watch the second episode, you'd actually you'll turn off. But with this, you turn it on, you want to watch more. I mean, we were gonna just watch Rose. I mean, we ended up nearly watching the whole series before we went to bed.
I know, it's so addictive. Because it's so
good.
happy.
I know.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a happy show where it isn't now. What was it? It's getting late
Yeah,
now. I'd like to do
You've got
sorry?
that completely competition, don't you?
Yeah. So I did the prize draw about a minute or so ago. So this is for the visitation, and I got a whole stack of DVDs to mail out. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't get to any last week, so I, with the apocalypse and this big Jewish holiday where you got to get pissed out your mind.
Yeah, that's it. Under the circumstances, and
But we'll hopefully get into the mail while there still is mail. So yeah, sorry. This was won by it is Anne Onrai Chinaski. I saw you in the chat earlier, so yeah, congratulations if you're still there. And for the next week's one, I'd like to ask the chat. I have Doctor Who or non-Doctor Who. We have a choice. I'll give you a choice. We can be 4 to Doomsday, which I quite like, or Breaking Bad season 2.
Oh yeah.
God, man. See, I won't enter these competitions, but Breaking Bad.
You can enter. You can totally enter.
Breaking Bad, best show ever made.
Oh, Red Dwarf, Back to Earth.
Red Dwarf. Oh, no, you shouldn't have done that now. No,
well, there's always next week.
Never been much of a fan of Back to Earth, but I think it's mainly just the green screen effect. But it was awesome to see it come back.
I think Breaking Bad season 2 seems to be the everybody's favorite.
Right. Well, then what would we go the hashtag for that one?
Oh,
hashtag I am the danger.
There you go.
There you go. I am the excellent. Hashtag I am the danger. It's exciting.
Hashtag I am the
or no, I am the one who knocks. I love that.
That's much
joke.
better actually. I'm the one who knocks.
Right. I am the one who knocks. Right. Okay.
Breaking Bad is it's very unique in that it's the only show I think I've ever seen that maintained consistent quality all the way through. Breaking Bad is one of those shows where I actually, with Breaking Bad, I didn't watch it while it was on the air. It was actually the spring after it ended. I picked up the Blu-rays. I watched the entire season through in about a week and a half. And since then, I watch it all the way through at least once a year. As much as I love Doctor Who and Star Trek, Breaking Bad is the best television series ever made.
I agree. I seriously, I was blown away. My little brother was the one that actually introduced me into Breaking Bad, believe it or not. I never knew this show even existed. And we went on a binge watch so I could catch up. I mean, that show is just absolutely brilliant. Now, I was a big, huge fan of Lost, right? So I love shows. I love shows with twists and turns and shows that just basically, and the dialogue is just that very first episode where
Skylar, one of the most hated characters in TV history.
Oh, they're all fantastic. I mean,
no, she's hated. She's the love to hate person, but
why? Boy, because she slept with Ted.
Yeah,
really? I think it's totally reasonable. Have you been watching Better Call Saul this season?
I'm a few seasons behind.
Okay, it takes to this season before it gets to the level of Breaking Bad. This season is when it finally it delivers on the promise.
I've got an idea, actually. Who would like, actually, I've got a great idea. Who would like, actually, for us to review Breaking Bad on this channel.
Yes. Oh, let's do that.
There you go. Right. Well, then we'll do it. So if Balls Trek is available, because he said yes straight away. So if Balls Trek is available, Rabbi is available, me, and then if anybody else is interested, Cheryl, if you actually are interested in watching Breaking Bad with me, but I don't know if you will.
No. Cheryl. No. Have you ever watched Breaking Bad?
I could not get past the first 15 minutes of Breaking Bad. I found it so painfully boring.
Okay. So the first episode was actually the pilot, but honestly, this show is. I've never been hooked on a show like this.
I couldn't. I'm like, I can't even watch this.
Right, here we go. Right, I've got it.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's Mega Geeks in as well.
Rabbi, that's who I was going to say. So we got Rabbi, Balls Trek, and Mega Geek, and myself.
Cool.
And so what we'll do is off when we finish up this stream, we'll try to figure out what day will suit us all or what night will suit us all.
I probably won't be able to figure that out until next week because I have no idea what's happening with my job tomorrow. So we'll find out.
We'll wait.
I have a theory you're going to find out tomorrow, pretty early on.
Yeah, it's well, folks. If you see me going back to regular YouTube videos suddenly for a couple weeks, you know why.
We do, yes.
And we will be doing Classic Who as well. By the way, I've seen some people ask for Classic Who. Don't worry. We're actually going to do that as well. Look, we're not going to be discussing Chibnall's upcoming Christmas special or series. We will, as Paul said, I'll cover the media around it. I will cover if there's any information on the episode that comes through. Yes, I will let you know, but we won't be reviewing it. So we'll review different shows. So we will be doing Classic Who as well. We're gonna continue with New Who. We're gonna do Breaking Bad because everybody seems to all of us. As soon as we mention Breaking Bad, everybody just yeah. So we'll do Breaking Bad, and we'll do other sci-fi shows as well. The Orville is coming back. I want to do that. Lost in Space series season 3.
Oh God, I still have to watch that.
That's coming out next year as well.
Yeah, Westworld's back tonight.
Yeah, Westworld was back tonight, and we did cover Picard on Rabbi's channel because obviously we were on Balls Trek.
Actually, no, somebody here made a suggestion from The Good, the Bad, and Dave. Review the pilot and season 1 of Twin Peaks instead. I wouldn't say instead, but yes, Twin Peaks, that first season
That'll be interesting. I haven't gone back to that for years.
It's I watched it again, 3 years ago. But yeah, the pilot and those 7 episodes. It's actually considered to be as close to a perfect season of TV as you get. And David Lynch is a genius. I don't know. You could have me go on for hours about what a masterpiece Mulholland Drive is. I think it's might be my favorite movie of all time.
I love that movie, Mulholland Drive. Yeah,
I just paid like $50 for the Criterion special edition. Well, I did earlier. Actually, I think I sent. Worth every penny. I think I sent you a picture of it when I bought it.
We could do was it Battlestar Galactica as well. Battlestar Galactica is a show I've gone through like 3
Still
times.
haven't watched it. The original or the remake.
So good.
I loved Twin. Yeah, we'll do that as well then. You know, like look at the end of the day, right? It's going to be Doctor Who might be in the shitter right now, right? But there's one thing that I'm taking from all this, right? Yes, I am heartbroken. I'm still angry. I'll never get over what this man has done. But somewhere down the line, a showrunner will rectify this. Until then, I'm not going to get upset anymore. Trust me, I've done enough for 2 weeks. I've just gone past the stage of being upset now. It's done. There's nothing I could do about it. Yes, as fans, we can roar and shout, and we are making a difference. 3 statements proves that we're making a difference.
Noel, we got another suggestion, which I keep interrupting you here, but they keep throwing The Prisoner. The Prisoner. No, the Prisoner. We've actually mentioned the best shows in TV history. The Prisoner, I watch that every year. I've got the original A&E Blu-ray release from 2009, which has been out of print for about 8 years. I think it goes for like $500.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Really? Because I got that one. Okay.
yeah. They it went out of print very quickly, out of
Wow,
nowhere.
that's a good set. I'm surprised. So the one they brought out recently, I like better.
Is it the original one with the? Do you have the region? It's still available in region 2, so you might have that one. It's the original A&E region 1 release. It has
is it the one with the ad for the revival?
God, that yes, it does. So if it's the white Blu-ray keep case, don't sell that.
Okay.
That, and I have 2 really valuable DVD or Blu-rays in my collection. There's The Prisoner, and then there's the Dawn of the Dead, which also has been out of print for 10 years. Those are worth a small fortune.
Dawn of the Dead. The original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, because it was released on Blu-ray once, was never re-released. It's been out of print for 10 years. I got it for like $5 at Best Buy back in 2010, and now it's worth like 600 times that.
I'm a fan of those movies, but I want to ask your personal opinion on the updated version of Dawn of the Dead. What did you think of that? Because I thought it was actually pretty good.
I like it. That was James Gunn was the writer on that.
Oh, really?
Yep. It was mainly the movie that put him on the map. He wrote what was it? Stuart Little or something. It's some kids show before that.
Stuart Little.
But it's I was skeptical. So I'm like, no, don't, because I'm not a fan of remakes, and I'm like, you can't remake Dawn of the Dead. That's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Then I went to see it in the theater, and I'm like, my God, like there are certain movies that I will watch once every year. The remake of Dawn of the Dead is on that list. It's I thought it was really well done. And the Scream, if you're in region 1, the Scream Factory release is well worth getting because it has all the original DVD extras that haven't been available in any form since 2005, 2006.
All right. By the way, was the problem being in the chat is strongly recommending you check out Blake 7. I enjoy it a lot.
Do that as well. Don't worry. Keep your suggestions going. I actually have I think I put a community post up a few weeks back. Go into that and leave your comments if there's any other shows, or I'll just put up a new one after this stream, right? And leave your suggestions there. And I see the Space Book as well. Dan, you're more than welcome to join the panel at any occasion you want to, whatever show we're doing. If there's one particular that you'd like to join the panel for a few weeks while we're reviewing it, let me know. And if you have any suggestions yourself as well, throw them our way and we'll do them all. You know, you look at the end of the day, as I said, we can still review Classic Who, we can still do New Who up until a certain point, and then we can also do other shows that we love. For example, I'd love to be able to do my self-review personally, the first couple of seasons, maybe the first 3 seasons of Sliders, because after that...
Oh, God, I love that show. Jerry O'Connell, yep. Yeah. Canadian show. I own that on DVD twice. I've got the original releases, although I didn't get season 5, and then I got the re-release, which includes season 5. Yep, it's we could have a debate on what happened to that show in season 5 when all but one of the original cast members left.
Yeah, it just went on. Yeah,
I stopped watching by then. That's good. That's one of the first shows I ever dipped out of.
It's because it actually it was originally owned by Fox, so the first 3 seasons are really good. For season 4, it was bought out by or Sci-Fi in the US bought the rights, and it was aired on Space in Canada. Season 4, the quality just dipped through the floor. And season 5, I actually, to this day, like 20 years later, I still haven't watched all the episodes from season 5.
My dad did, and my dad was a huge fan of Sliders, and actually he even says that the first 3 seasons, the first couple of seasons are dead brilliant. Season 3, you could see then that there was problems, and there was actually problems behind the scenes. There was a lot of problems. That show was very juicy to actually review because there was a lot of crap going on behind the scenes as well.
Well, it got cancelled 3 times.
Yeah, Jonathan Rhys-Davies is not the one that played Arturo.
Yeah.
Didn't he suddenly leave then all of a sudden? Like, everybody was dropping like flies. And I like that storyline with was it the evil Arturo, or was it the good one that actually...
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
like it was actually very clever. Even the first episode, I think, was they hadn't got a cure for it was for something, but the simple cure was penicillin, and they came up with it. Was oh man,
oh yeah, that's one of the third or second episodes.
Yeah, second episode, yeah, and Alienation as well. Remember Alienation?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, the movie was good with James Caan.
Yeah.
Well, the TV show was fun. Was it Matthew Pounder in the chat mentioned Quatermass? I was thinking the other day, Quatermass and the Pit, which if you haven't seen it, is a movie that is so right to be remade for this time because it's all about people like grouping together into mindless mobs. It's basically like the invasion. It's where the invasion of these social justice warriors came from. It's like this race memory. It's really worth going back to and we'll look at because it's so predicted, like our age we're in literally right now.
Yeah. You need to go, Rabbi, don't you?
I do. It's time for me to go to bed. Thank you, everybody. Please head over to my channel and subscribe. Listen, if we can get through the apocalypse, we're going to be monetized. I think we can all agree it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Before you do go, what were you doing about the Picard stream? Is that?
I figure we'll catch up this week sometime. Whenever you're free. Whenever everybody's free.
Or you do a double. Just do the double episode next week.
I don't know. Maybe we could do that, but then we could do another one for the finale. Yeah, listen. Look, we've all got a lot going on this week with stuff. We'll work it out somehow.
Yeah. Listen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Oh, my pleasure. As always, it was so much my pleasure to watch this episode again. I can't wait to watch the End of the World and keep going.
Yeah, End of the World next week, folks. So get watching, actually. And listen, join us on this little journey because you will see and you will feel a lot better as you keep watching. Yes,
you really do. Yeah, it is true.
Listen, there will be times because Cheryl had moments and I had moments. There will be moments when you look at something and something that you really enjoy in a certain episode and it's going to hit home to you what Chibnall has done. But you will get over it, trust me, because it sucks you in. So stay with us. This is going to be fun. I've actually enjoyed this stream. I thought it was going to be a little bit depressing, to be quite honest.
It's been really nice. It's been really uplifting.
But listen, thanks, Rabbi, for joining us. I really appreciate it, and we will talk to you very, very soon.
Right.
And, mods, don't forget to just throw up all the channels of all the panelists, please.
Yeah. Night, everybody.
Good night, Rabbi.
Night.
And yeah, I'm going to have to take off shortly.
Yeah, we're going to finish up now in a second anyway, Ballstrek. But is there anything else? Actually, I forgot to ask because we got so caught up in different things. What you would rate this episode. So, Rabbi, just before you actually turn off your computer, if you could leave your rating in the live chat. Sorry, I should have asked. So, what would you rate this episode out of 10? And what would you give Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper's performances out of 10? What would you rate them out of 10? So, 10 being the best, 1 obviously being the worst, and also the minus ratings do come into this because we have to be fair because we did it for the Abomination Who, so we might as well do the same here. So who'd like to start first?
I'll give it a 10. This is a 10 across the board. This is a classic episode.
Right. Sharon?
I agree. I mean, especially being like a new person and it gets you sucked in and you're into it. I mean, and it's not that I'm not a fan of sci-fi because I was huge Star Wars and everything, but I think Doctor Who you can't just get like flung into on your own.
Yeah, Rabbi gives it an overall 8.
Yep.
Problem being 8. I'd have to agree with everybody on the panel here that's here now. I would give it a 10 across the board. I mean, Christopher Eccleston, as I said, I wasn't sure about him. There was a little bit of controversy, but he won me over straight away, so he gets a 10. And Billy Piper, her first acting job, I mean, she gets a 10 because you think she was acting for years. That's the thing for me. She won me over. I mean, she won me over as the companion straight away. Obviously, then I do have problems with her later on. But that very first episode, spot on Mickey, spot on Jackie, spot on. Look, the thing about it is it was down to earth, right? You connected to every single some people connected to Jackie, some connected to Mickey, some connected to Rose, some connected to the Doctor. That's what RTD was very clever at doing. He was able to get these ordinary people and the Doctor and make you relate to them all. And I think that's what we're missing in Chris Chibnall's era, personally speaking.
Well, and if you think about it, after such a long hiatus, to have, you know, a show come back on where people were super invested in it, the classic fans, I mean, our diehard fans and stuff, and then it could bring them back after all that time and stuff. I mean, I think that's saying a lot about a show and a writer and just the actors and everything. It just all clicked. It worked. It was fun. It was exciting. It was interesting. Yep. I mean, it's an episode you enjoy. It's not, I'm not saying that's not flawed. I know it 10 seems kind of high because it makes it sound perfect. It's not that it's perfect. It's just that it's so well done for what it was. And, yes. And I think that just, I think that's why I give it a 10. It's more than just that it was a solid episode. To bring it back from the cusp and to get that many new people back and new fans, I think that's just key right there. And it's the exact opposite of what's happening right now.
Yeah. Falling off. It's significant because this episode is what kicked off 9 great years of Doctor Who, which I consider the golden era of New Who from 2005. Well, the golden era is from 2005 to 2010, but the strong era is 2005 to 2014, Series 8. So, you know, we had a strong, great show for 9 years. Yes. And I don't think if this episode hadn't been as strong as it was, because there was no guarantee that Doctor Who was going to get a second series, it all depended on this episode. And this episode exceeded everybody's expectations. And the announcement was made the day after we're going ahead with Series 2. And then the week later, oh, by the way, Christopher Eccleston's leaving. But this is the episode that brought Doctor Who back. Unfortunately, it's not even worth comparing it to what we have now because it's just too depressing how it's fallen in 15 years. But no, it's a 10 out of 10 for the episode and for what it brought.
Look, if you want to know what it meant to RTD to bring this show back, watch his very first televised interview. I think it's outside the BBC studios. It's a small, I think it's only a 5-minute interview, and he talks about bringing Doctor Who back. Yeah. You also look at the serious trailer. I think that trailer, for me personally, is the best introduction trailer ever for any Doctor Who series. That one is Series 1's trailer. And not only that, they had little TV spots as well. It was well promoted. Listen,
yep, they're all on the DVDs and Blu-rays. Well, one thing, Noel, in terms of how invested he was in this, the first time RTD heard Murray Gold's completed mix of the new theme, he broke down into tears. So that's how much this meant to him.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I don't want to go back to You Know Who, but it is actually kind of sad to how short a time it has fallen. But look, we have been very lucky. We have, especially with New Who and Classic Who, with the actors that have taken the stories that we have. We have a lot to take away from this show. It's just unfortunate.
The BBC purging all of the episodes because now we have things digitally, so we'll be able to hang on to those.
Yeah, I'd rather buy the physical copy though, because
you have no idea.
I mean, the difference is like those classic episodes that are lost are gone. They're not.
Well, the classic, they're reanimated. No, they've got the look at they're releasing new animations now.
Yeah, but they're working Chibnall era scenes into them.
Yeah.
If you have the old loose cannon reconstructions, I'd hang on to those.
Yeah, that's it. And there's a site, actually, I can't really say on here, but there's a site that you can Google where everything, the telly snaps from William Hartnell all the way down. It goes up as far as Peter Davison's era. No, Sylvester McCoy's era. It goes, the complete classic era is there to watch. That's what I watch on my computer. I was watching Tomb of the Cybermen. It's the first classic Doctor Who that I've been able to watch since this abomination dropped. And you know what? I sat there and I actually did enjoy it. And Patrick Troughton is just a legend. It's just it's a great story. I mean, I'm not even finished. I'm only halfway through, and it's just it's look. We have been lucky, and we have been blessed with this show. It's just it didn't need. This is why it annoys me. This didn't need to be done. The only problem that we've had with Doctor Who over the last couple of years, and everybody will agree with me here, the problem that we've had is the writing, and only the writing. That was the only problem. And maybe, okay, I hate to admit it, casting Peter Capaldi after Matt Smith mightn't have been the wisest decision, considering that there was a lot of fangirls and Matt Smith that were heartbroken, and obviously some of them didn't come back when Peter Capaldi was cast. But for me personally, I'm glad they cast Peter Capaldi, because we ended up getting probably the best Doctor, or well, he's in the top three. He's up there with Pertwee, Baker, and himself. The three of them are the Holy Trinity, in my opinion. The only thing that obviously Peter Capaldi suffers from is the lack of decent scripts. But when he did get a decent script, he was absolutely fantastic. And even the poor scripts, he elevated them and made them better than what they were. And I think that's the difference. We're getting bad scripts now, and unfortunately the person in charge, which I won't mention her name, is not good enough to elevate these scripts. And even if she did, the writing is still so poor. And not even Peter Capaldi couldn't save this current era, to be quite honest with you. I'm glad whether he was fired or he left or he was pushed. I don't care at this stage. I'm just glad that he wasn't part of this, because I don't think he would be, though, Bolstrick. I don't think he would be. The people said that he stepped down. Do you know what? I probably would believe that now if he found out what they were doing and he didn't want to be part of that. Again, I already have huge respect for him, but that would be, again, the type of man he is. He understands the fandom. He understands the show. I mean, he wrote that letter as a kid. I mean, he understands this show. Do you know what? He'd be the man. I'd love him to take over showrunner.
Yep. No, he could do it. And yeah, sorry, Noel, I'm probably going to have to head out in a minute. Lexi is got that look on her face.
It's got to go out too.
Yeah. We'll finish up. Listen, give your channel an old shout out there. And have you got anything coming up now, or are you just waiting to see what happens first before you?
Well, I am Bulls Trek at various things. I have no idea what's going on, because if my job continues tomorrow and we don't get called out, then things will be as normal, where I only have a few hours a week to devote to YouTube, but I'm going to try and have a video out next weekend. If my job does get canceled for a few weeks, then I will be back to doing full-time YouTube. So Travels in Time, love to Lexi. Thank you very much, Travels in Time. I'm looking after her, and she's got a little bit of her personality back, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm delighted. You sent me a photo. I haven't showed Cheryl, but you sent me a photo during the week, and yeah,
she was very sad.
It was sad.
Oh, you did, yeah, because they get like
you could see it in our eyes, but you know what? No better man to be looking after it. And
it'll be 3 years for me this week that I lost my little guy. So and the struggles with the meds and all that. Yeah, I know what it's heart-wrenching. So yes, much love to Lexi.
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl, and thanks, Noel. And well, thank you everybody else. But yeah, I'm going to take off because she's I think she's got the I have to pee, or I'm going to pee on the floor look.
Yeah.
No. Listen, thanks for joining us. And listen, when we organize those other streams, when you get a chance, we'll do it, and we'll get cracking with that. Obviously, it'll be something fun to do.
You're gonna goodbye, Noel. I'm gonna get the dog. So
yeah.
bye.
Okay, yeah, and I'm out too. So goodbye, everyone, and stay safe, because it's a mess out there.
No problem, man. Thanks for joining us, Cheryl. See you later as well. Thanks, Bolstrek. Listen, guys, we're gonna end there. So that was the Rose episode review. We went into a lot of detail, of course, and then obviously the conversation that naturally does progress a little bit to obviously because we kind of do. We're looking at it and it is a bit. But listen, I hope you have enjoyed this stream. The idea of these streams obviously is, a lot of YouTubers are trying to find ways to keep the fandom busy and also to try put a smile on your face. So I hope this has somehow helped heal a few of those wounds that you have. And you know what? There's people out there making a laugh of us about how we're going on about this show and think it's absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? You'll always have people here that'll understand, because it's not just a TV show to some of us. Some of us have been emotionally attached to this show for a very, very long time. And to see it in its current state is heartbreaking. But I hope these streams do go a little way of helping you deal with what has happened. We will be doing classic Who reviews as well. I'll be bringing them back. We did originally start them and then we never continued on. So we might continue on from the point where we left off, or might start again anyway. I will throw up a little promo trailer. I hope to do those classic streams on a Friday night, and then obviously on the Sunday we do New Who, and then obviously then Mondays and Wednesdays then we'll be caught up with either the new shows like Picard that I will be doing, Lost in Space, The Orville, and all those other shows that he has asked me to review. So there's plenty of stuff going on this channel. So stick with us. I'm not going to rebrand the channel. It's still a Doctor Who channel because we still will be covering Doctor Who, but we will be branching out into other sci-fi shows and other shows. We might do a bit of comedy as well because I'm a big fan of comedy and a bit of thriller. I love detective dramas as well if they're decent enough. And I love they're like Lost and stuff like that, as I said. So we'll do as much as we can. Listen, guys, thank you to all my moderators. I'm glad everything in the chat went well tonight. Thank you, everybody that has gave me a super chat tonight. I really appreciate all the support. We really do. It blows us away. Thank you very much. And everybody in the chat as well. And also, guys, everybody that has sent me kind messages, sent me their stories as well about how much this show means to you. I've put a couple of videos up. There's more videos to go up because I have a lot more comments. If you haven't commented, there is a section in the community post. Let me know in a short paragraph. See the way the others have done it. They've left gaps so I can screenshot them, put them in video form. Let us know how everything, how you feel about Doctor Who, what it's meant to you. We will do Only Fools and Horses and stuff like that as well. Faulty Towers, whatever. I mean, I watched all those shows growing up. So Hello was another one that I grew up watching. But if we reveal that today, we probably get into trouble because that's about the Nazis in occupied France, and they make a comedy out of it. Yeah, we'll do that Only Fools and Horses. I promise you, there's going to be plenty of content on this channel to keep everybody happy. So stick with us. And if you haven't subscribed and it's the first time listening to the channel, please do so because your support will mean a lot. Like the video, hit that notification button, and please make sure you are all subscribed. Good night. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a good one. And as I said, after this stream goes up, if you want to go into the comment section, again, leave your suggestions in there, and we will get through as many of them as we can. Listen, good night, folks. Have a good one. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. Keep yourselves all wrapped up, and as I said, just look after yourselves. Good night. Talk to you tomorrow.